All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. Hold on, got something weird going on with the lighting. Yeah. So, uh, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I'm looking bigger. Oh well, thank you for that. Extra protein, maybe some extra protein, some creatine. But yes, welcome back to the channel. Apologies for the later than normal stream. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's only 2 in the afternoon, and it feels like I don't know, feels late to me. Irfin, what's going on, man? I'm doing all right. Hope you're doing well. 7 in the evening where you are, unknown. Isley, what's up? Lady Gamer. No, I haven't seen the new Superman movie yet. I look like I just woke up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I look like that. I definitely didn't just wake up. I've been up since like 6:30. So, if I look tired, I don't know why I look tired. I don't feel that tired. I feel like I don't feel tired like I want to sleep. I feel exhausted, bro. That's how I feel. I feel straight up exhausted. Delivering those damn packages in Death Stranding. It's tiring me out. It's exhausting me. That's what I mean to say. Looking pale. Yeah, it's something weird's going on with my lighting, dude. Like I don't know what's going on with it. Um I look too pale. I look tired and pale. Not sure what's going on. But yeah, Irfin, I'm at that point now, and geez, it's not easy, man. Is Death Stranding still fun, or is it getting tedious? It has not gotten tedious. It's gotten a little bit more difficult, I will say. It's gotten a little bit more difficult. But yeah, that's because now I'm in like the snow mountains, and the terrain is getting a bit tougher to traverse. But I'm enjoying that factor, though. Actually, it's making it look well, it's making it look really nice. Like, the entire game looks nice, but it's making it feel a little bit more rewarding. I'm looking like Kratos. Oh, I guess thanks for that. I guess that's a compliment. Yeah. Oh no, Michael, no, don't start calling me Edward. How have me and Mrs. MBG been? We've been good. We've been good. Just a lot going on lately, There's been a lot going on this year in general. So, other than just a lot going on, we've been doing pretty good, I'd say. I'm sorry to hear that, Lady Gamer. Yeah. No, I know what it's like. I definitely know what it's like. Isley, you're saying trying to get the DS2 Platinum right after the director's cut is doing something to me. Sounds ominous. It's doing something to you. Did you hear the rumor? Spider-Man on Xbox. That depends on where the rumor's coming from. I mean, I've been hearing people asking for Spider-Man on Xbox, but I don't know that I've come across an actual rumor, like from a source. 0 Point, you thought I wasn't going to stream. I wasn't sure if I was going to make the stream today. I had some stuff going on earlier, and I was like, well, either it's going to be another day where I don't stream, or it's going to be a later stream. So I decided to go for a later stream. So I don't know if that means today's going to be a little bit shorter than normal. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm streaming about 2 hours later than I normally would. Garrett, what's going on, man? Yeah, as far as I'm aware, there's no actual rumor of Spider-Man going to Xbox. I think it's just a lot of people wanting it to happen, hoping it will happen. There was a post from Insomniac. It was just Spider-Man, and that's all it was. It was just Spider-Man saying hi, and people look at that and they assume like, oh well, they must be teasing Spider-Man for Xbox. And it's like, well, uh, yeah, we do have some interesting news about Santa Monica. Some really, really, really interesting news about Santa Monica Studio that actually, like, man, it's quite the twist. We're gonna talk about that. I'm just gonna wait a little bit before we dive into it. Let more people kind of come in. It's crazy how fanboys turned that post of all posts to thinking that means Spider-Man is going to Xbox. Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's like I told you, the goalposts, they're moved constantly. Um, and I remember when Microsoft announced multiple games going to PlayStation. Apparently, at that point, PlayStation players were just port begging, just ponies port begging. But you see the exact opposite happening to like an even crazier degree, where like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man, like people really, like Xbox players really, really want, like, it's just weird to me because it's like if you want Spider-Man that bad, like, bro, like, just go play it on PC or something, man. Like, it's if you want it that bad. JMR, how do you know that, by the way? You're saying that intergalactic news isn't true? Oh, you're because it's from 4chan. I mean, it's a 50-50 thing. Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that anything you're reading from 4chan isn't true, but it is a place where like you can every now and again some true stuff gets posted there. Yeah, Vanino, I saw that Ben Studio apparently had multiple cancellations, not just one game. I'm kind of not surprised by that, only because from what I understand, these studios are usually working on multiple things at all times, especially if they're like a bigger studio. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit surprising. It's not like shocking. It's a little bit surprising. It sucks. I wonder what else they were working on that didn't work out, that ended up getting canceled. Michael Lynch with a $5 super chat says, I saw a spider crawling on the floor last night. That must mean Spider-Man's coming to Xbox. Yeah, had a little green to it. Spider looked had this green tint. Absolutely, Michael. Jamar says he saw Spider in his garage today. Spider-Man's also coming to the Switch too. Come to think of it, I saw Spider the other night as well. And yeah, it must mean it's coming. That's really all I can take from it. Do we kill spiders? I mean, I try not to, but it's like if they start to make me feel threatened, sometimes I have to take action. You know what I mean? Um, like if they're moving really fast and they look like they're maybe trying to go somewhere, and I might not know where they're going to be, that's a problem. Like I can't be having spiders just hanging out in my house, not knowing when they might show up. You know, No, see, that's not true though. That's not true because the other night when I was in my living room, on the wall across from where I was sitting, I saw a spider like really quickly, like crawling down. It wasn't a big one. It was like that big, really quickly crawling down. And I took like maybe like 10 seconds to go investigate, see if I could find it. I couldn't find it. And I'm like, whatever. It's like, it's cool. I say that it's going to, yeah, it's going to show up in the worst place when I least expect it. I took 10 seconds to run and hide. Dude, the only type of spiders that really actually freak me out to where I'm like, okay, that'll make me jump is I forget what they're called. They're like wolf spiders or something where they're kind of brown and they're relatively large. They're like this big and they're fast, and I think they jump. Tarantulas, oh, it's over, dude. I see a tarantula in my house, I'm moving. I'm out. But I don't live in an area where I think tarantulas are. I think I am in a region where black widow spiders are actually they are here. I don't think I've ever seen one, but like, yeah, got to be careful with that. Oh yeah, don't even get me started with wasps. Hi MBG, could you please turn off the audio dubbings so I can hear your real voice? It's getting exhausting to me hearing a fake voice. I saw you talking about this before I went live, and like I don't even know what's going on, dude. I'm gonna be honest. Is that what I agreed to? I think I remember YouTube like mentioning to me something about like yeah. Uh, I don't know. I'll have to look into it because the thing is, Mr. Drake, is I don't know how many people do use it, and it helps them. I think it just basically is like it's an AI translation tool essentially that if you want to listen to my video but you're not in English, you don't understand English, um it'll just like give me some kind of weird AI voice and just do the video in your native language, but it's not actually my voice, which is really interesting to me. Like I really wonder what I sound like. Like it's probably the most cursed thing ever, come to think of it. Dwayne says, "How's it going? Any recent cinema trips? You saw Superman earlier this afternoon. You were disappointed. You give it a 2 out of 5. Hmm. That's the next movie I would like to see. I have like no expectations going into it. If I do see it, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm disappointed with it. Or I'm like, eh. I mean, every trailer I've seen, it looks like it's doing like maybe too much. Like there's too many characters. There's too much going on. But I don't know. I haven't actually watched it, so need to go watch F1. Do I think Yote will sell as much as Tsushima? That's a good question. I actually don't know. I mean, it's like asking the question, will Death Stranding 2 sell as well as Death Stranding 1? I mean, you talk about Death Stranding 1, you talk about Ghost of Tsushima. Both of these games came at the very end, the last 2 years of the PS4. So it had a larger install base. They were $60 games, they weren't $70. I don't know. I'm not sure that these games are going to be able to keep pace with the first ones. It's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, they could have long tails. Well, we are going to get into the topic discussion. I did put Ghost of Yotei in the topic list, and I just did that because I don't necessarily have anything specific I'm bringing to the table. I don't want to become overly redundant with talking about Ghost of Yotei, but I put it up there because I figure, it's going to be brought up like it is right now, and there will be certain points where we talk about it a little bit here and there. Do I think we'll see Corey Barlog's next game before the PS6 reveal? Well, that's what I want to talk to you guys about. We have some really, really interesting and frankly, I would say surprising news about the next Santa Monica game. We have been covering this game for a long time, and it's been in development for a long time. And we are now learning that it's not a new IP. Not only is it not a new IP, but we're also learning that it's not sci-fi. It's not a sci-fi type game, which really I think just scrambles everything, frankly, because people have been assuming that this game is sci-fi, something, well, assuming it's a new IP and assuming it's a sci-fi game for like the past 4 years. And well, Robert, it's coming from Jason Schreier, so it's pretty much confirmed. Jason Schreier, he's quite literally like the number one source in gaming when it comes to like he doesn't leak stuff out that much, but anytime he puts out info, he only puts out stuff that he's 110% sure of. And he just casually kind of revealed that like you can tell he knows a lot more about the game, but he's not trying to leak everything. He's not trying to like ruin it. Um, but yeah, he did confirm that it's the way Jason Schreier put it is that it's not a new IP, but it's going to feel like a new IP. And that is what's really throwing me off because it's like, well, what does that mean? Like, that can only mean a couple of things. I mean, the first thing I think is well, everybody's assuming it's a new IP because, well, I mean, they've only really done God of War. I mean, they did like Connecticut and stuff, but like I don't know. It's oh, hey Luna. It just seemed like a sure thing. That's what I'm trying to say. It seemed like a sure thing that it was going to be a new IP, but yeah, let me give you the actual quotes here. If it'll load. All right, so the first thing that Jason Schreier said was he said the last time he spoke to anybody at I think it was Santa Monica about the new game, he said that apparently it's going great. Like there are no development issues, it's going smooth, it's going well. And you know, that wasn't like big news because it's like, oh, well, that's good. You know, no issues. That's good to know. But then he did a follow up where he was talking in the Reset Era forums, by the way. That's the important thing to note. He was talking to other people in the Reset Era forums. And he said, why does everybody think Cory Barlog's new game is a new IP? And then this is the most important, this is like the juiciest part. So he says, Jason Schreier on Reset Era says, quote, I'll put it this way. It's not a new intellectual property, but it might feel like one. Maybe that's why people are confused. Please don't ask me more questions about this. If I wind up reporting more information at any point in the future, it'll be in an article, not on a forum. And he says here, I can also confirm that Ashong knows what they're talking about. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And then finally, he says all that sci-fi stuff that people have apparently been believing for years now is nonsense. So he just kind of drops a couple of bombs here, you know, where it's like, it's not a new IP, but he says it will feel like one. And he says it's not sci-fi. And he mentions this person, Ashong. I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly. Ashhong. And the reason why he mentions this person is because this person said something. I don't know. I think it was a while ago. They said, I can't wait for Santa Monica to announce their game. I truly don't know how people will react. I will just say it's different and probably not something anybody is expecting. Not trying to sour anyone's expectations, by the way. I think it's going to be amazing. At first, I was like, he puts like the slant looking face where it's like, I don't know. But then he says, I was like, oh. And he confirms it's not a licensed game. So, I mean, this, I got to ask you guys. I feel like the most obvious thing here is like, what are the chances this is just some, a game set in the God of War universe? Because I want you to think about this. Yeah, it is really interesting because it's it's one of these things where the prospect of a new IP from Santa Monica sounds awesome. So I feel like it's a little bit disappointing to find out that it's not a new IP because I mean they haven't made something truly brand new in pretty much since 2005 with God of War. I think we all know we're getting another God of War game at some point, right? But now I really start to question, like, I mean, the first thing that I've seen people bring up is like Atreus. Like, essentially, is it going to be because he says it's going to feel like a new IP. So he basically Jason Schreier's confirming one of two things. He's confirming either A, it's a game set in the God of War universe that may as well be a new IP because it's going to be so different from God of War. It's either that or it's an older IP that Cory Barlog decided he wanted to make a game with Santa Monica using an older PlayStation IP. And it's going to be rebooted like God of War 2018. It makes sense. I feel like, if you're Sony, you probably would trust Cory Barlog with rebooting anything. Because look at what he did for God of War 2018, right? Like, can he do that for another franchise? Maybe it's the God of War 2D game. I mean, that would be crazy underwhelming. That would be like, I mean, we're gonna fall to our knees crying. Underwhelming. No offense to the 2D God of War game, but that that would be like, that's what you've been working on this whole time? What? I mean, this seems to me, well, it's worth noting, it's not, I don't think it's going to be that. It can't be because Jason Schreier said that this new game is the next big thing, by the way. He said it's the next big thing from Santa Monica. So I think that pretty much confirms they're not talking about the side project, Castlevania side-scrolling type game. This sounds like it's like the next AAA big title coming from them. I we talk about the Order 1886, and people have been bringing this up. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think it's the Order 1886, but there was this interesting post that somebody made. Let me see if I can find it. So this person says it would be very funny if the rumor we got years ago by Osiris Black about a sequel for the Order 1886 is actually this game. It has sci-fi elements, but in a steampunk meets Victorian England way. That's my copium for the sequel that never was. And what people are talking about, this is an old ass rumor, dude, and it's so funny, dude. It's like, it makes me feel like, wait, hold on though. So there was this like insider who went by I don't know if they're still around, but Osiris Black. And this person was out here like leaking stuff during 2020 when like we were just learning things about the PS5 and we were building up to the PS5 launch. And he put out this long post, I think, basically saying and confirming that, or not confirming, but claiming that like a sequel to The Order was actually greenlit and is happening. And he didn't reveal like any other details. Osiris Black is a Sony leaker on NeoGAF, but has been incorrect about a couple of things. Yeah, it's like I haven't come across this person in a long time, but I don't know, man. The studio closed after that. Did I say sequel? I meant it's, well, the only thing that interests me, like the only reason I even entertain this notion is because Santa Monica co-developed The Order. That's all. That's the only reason I even allow this to be a thought, because they do have a hand in that game. And people have been asking for a sequel for a long time. And it's clear that Sony wanted it to be a big thing. But still, I don't know that that's what that would be very, very risky. I don't know if Cory Barlog worked on it. I don't think he did. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I think is most likely. And this may be a little bit disappointing, but what I think is most likely the case with this game, this Santa Monica game, is it is set in the God of War universe. And I say this simply for the fact that God of War is like one of Sony's biggest properties. I mean, it's one of the most well known. It's one of the top sellers. I mean, I think the only other property that Sony has that does better than God of War is Gran Turismo. And I think God of War is catching up. And to me, if I look at modern day Sony, I feel like they look at that and they're like, listen, we can't, like, we got to be able to do more with God of War. Like, we have to be able to expand this universe or something. You know, I'm with you on that, Dan. I hope this isn't something God of War related. I'm not going to be like mega disappointed, but it's like, you know, okay, more God something different. But what's interesting about that is, I don't know, you know, he says it's not a new IP, but it feels like it's going to be. It's going to feel like a new IP. And that, I don't know, I'm just so fascinated by that. Like, what could that mean? It's not licensed. It's not a Thor game. It's not a licensed game. That was confirmed. It's something we already had before. But it's going to feel so different that it feels totally brand new. I mean, how many things are on the table? I mean, is Cory Barlog making Knack 3? I don't know. Why would Cory Barlog step away from the opportunity to be the lead dev in God of War Ragnarok, only to do something God of War related? Yeah, that's a good point. Son of God of War. Son of War. Oh, man. Well, let me ask you this. Does Sony have any intellectual properties that... Well, no, Jason Schreier said it's not sci-fi. Oh, this is a tough one, man. I feel like he told us everything except what it actually is. Yeah, what dormant IP? Heavenly Sword? I feel like that's too deep of a cut. I don't know. Legend of Dragoon? I don't see it. I don't know. It has to, I feel like there's certain IPs that maybe it like, oh, okay, I could see that, but I don't know if Legend of Dragoon, Connecticut. Wait, what even is Connecticut? Like, I've heard of this game, but what does this game even look like? Is this like a racing game? Yo, wait, is Connecticut a racing game? Why did I not know that's what it was? That's so funny. Oh my God, they're making a racing game. Well, see, that's the thing. I've heard about the canceled sci-fi game, Dark Side. No, Connecticut's like a cycle rail side scroller. Okay. All right, Ray. God of War Racing, God of War Kart. It's going to be a reimagining of an old IP. That's what I'm thinking, but what IP? Starhawk? Siren? No, I don't. Siren was a Japanese developed game. I don't see them doing it. Toe Jam and Earl. PlayStation All Stars, bro. Okay, in what universe is Cory Barlog directing a PlayStation All Stars, bro? Uncharted 5. Yo, that would be a twist. Twisted Metal? Bloodborne. Yeah, dude. Neo, I thought about that too. Yeah, the 4chan leak where it showed the concept art of the Deborah Wilson character, and that was total bogus. Apparently, I mean, unless Jason Schreier's trying to mess with us, which I don't think he would do that, but Bucks S1X Bucks, you'll have to come back and let us know how it is, man. I'm really curious. I'm really really curious. I've been hearing some strange things about Skate. Resistance. I don't know. I mean, listen. I'm trying to think of something that can be it. I don't think it's going to be something crazy like Corey Barlog's making like a multiplayer. I don't. I think it will be a reimagining, but I think it's going to be a reimagining in like he's gonna do the God of War thing. He's gonna do for whatever game he's making. He's gonna do that. He's gonna do what he did for God of War 2018 for that game, where it's gonna be more cinematic, serious story. You know, well, yeah, that's weird too. That's weird too because Alana Pierce was working at Santa Monica Studio for a while, and I think she actually accidentally let it slip or something that it was a sci-fi game. So I don't know. Maybe Jason Schreier's like messing with us. SOCOM? No, I don't think so. I think that's too much of a multiplayer slant. He loves Shadow of the Colossus. Okay. No, it wasn't Corey Barlog who said that. Eric Williams, the director of Ragnarok, was the one who said that he would want to make a Castlevania game. He's SOCOM the Arrowhead. There you go. Siphon filter. Yeah, this is a tough one, man. I don't know that anybody really knows. So keep in mind, when I was reading that post from Ashong, I'm going to read it one more time. All right. He says, I can't wait for Santa Monica to announce their game. I truly don't know how people will react. I will just say it's different and probably not something anybody's expecting. I'm not trying to sour anybody's expectations, by the way. I think it's going to be amazing. Like, there's a vibe I get with what he's saying. I think, like, basically, I think the way I'm reading that is that this is going to be disappointing to a lot of people. He thinks it's going to be amazing. He's not trying to sour anybody's expectations, but I think he's kind of making it clear that some people are going to be like, yo, what the fuck? What is this? And I'm just trying to think, like, what could that be? The order. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It makes me a little nervous. It makes me a little nervous. It might actually be a racing game. Bro, dude. Yo, what if it's like, yeah, we made it's MotorStorm, bro. PlayStation Pete with a super chat says, I 100% all Astrobot trophies and bots. Well, big congratulations on that, PlayStation Pete. I actually am on the very last level. God, I'm struggling with it. I need one more bot. And after I do that, I'll have 100% everything. So I know how tough it is, PlayStation Pete. That's definitely impressive, man. Good stuff. I'll let you guys know if I'm able to get that last if I'm able to get that last bot or not. A racing game, 7 years in development. Infamous. Barlog said in a Game Informer interview that the most underrated PS2 game was War of the Monsters. I'd laugh if they were remaking that. Hold on, bro. What is this game? Is that a Santa Monica game? Santa Monica Studio assisted in the development. Oh, holy shit, bro. Yo. Okay. No way. Oh my god. Dude, that it's called War of the Monsters. I'll see if I can bring up a picture. I don't know if it'll let me. Sometimes my streaming software is stupid. See if I can get like an in-game screenshot here. There's like no good screenshots. I can't find any good ones. They all look like shit. I guess this one's kind of good. There's no way. There's no way. But this does kind of fit the bill where like people would be so disappointed, but then you'd have people be like, no, man, this is awesome. This is just like a random screenshot of the game where you're in like a city. It's like a kaiju battle simulator, I guess. Apparently, Santa Monica Studio assisted on the development of this game. I mean, I think it's a Sony owned IP, man. Not joking. You can find the Barlog interview with God of War, their Game Informer interview for God of War 2018. Oh man, dude. Maybe Corey demanded it. He said, "Sony, if you want me to stay, you know what kind of offers I'm getting right now. You want me to stay? I want to make a new War of the Monsters, Sony. I want to make a new War of the Monsters." Sony's like, we don't have any choice. So the genre is beat 'em up. Apparently, the main developer of the game was Incognito Entertainment, and also Capcom published it with Sony. So it had multiple publishers. What? This is so confusing. War of the Monsters is a fighting video game developed by Incognito Inc. or Entertainment, sorry, and published by Sony for the PS2. Santa Monica Studio assisted on development. The game was released on the PlayStation 2 in January 2003 in North America and in April in Europe. An emulated and upscaled version was re-released on the PS4 in December 2015. The game is set in the aftermath of an alien invasion of Earth where their hazardous fuels have spawned giant monsters that battle one another in city environments. The game pays homage to kaiju films and 1950s science fiction films. I don't think Corey Barlog was involved with the development at all. At this time, he would have been making, I think, God of War 2. Let me see how it reviewed. It was an 80 on Metacritic, so apparently it was pretty good. I don't know why I said Capcom was publishing it, though. I think that was maybe just bad info. Dude, holy shit, if that's what they're doing, that's going to be, I'm going to be honest, man. I don't know how you don't upset the PlayStation fan base. Wars in the title. It technically could be seen as, it could be viewed as like a sci-fi game in the sense that alien invasion, hype killer. Yeah, Sony does own the IP. No. You're saying maybe the PlayStation fan base should play more than third-person human adventure games? I mean, I agree. I don't know, man. I just feel like it would be so shockingly like, huh? Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. Listen, if you want to talk about If you were to ask me, like, well, MBG, what do you want it to be? What do you want it to be? What do you hope it is? I hope it's a sequel to The Order. I hope Cory Barlog was like, you know what? The Order didn't get a fair shake. I think these are great characters. I think this is a great universe and a really interesting world. And I think we could do more with it. Let's give it another shot. I would love to see that, but no, I don't think that's going to be. It's folklore. I don't think it's going to be an Order sequel. But if it was up to me, that's what it would be. Like, do what you did for God of War 2018. Do that to The Order now. On Reset Era, responding to a person saying it was an Order sequel, Shinobi602 responded with a GIF that said, "Give up hope." Damn it. Damn it, boss. Come on. I knew it. Dude, all these people on Reset Era secretly, how do these people know what this game is? Shinobi knows what it is. Jason Schreier knows what it is. Ashang knows what it is, but it has to be something good, right? Because like they wouldn't, they're not willing to spoil it. Maybe it's getting announced soon. Maybe. Yeah, that would be a good. I mean, yeah, it's been in development for a long time. Resistance. Nah, I don't think it'd be Resistance. If so many people are starting to get info on it. Well, Irfan, you're saying I just searched everywhere. Corey never talked about War of the Monsters. That was secretly Cory Barlog in the chat trying to throw us off. There's a showcase in September, I'm calling it. There's way too much stuff they're sitting on. There was an article back in January saying that Sony's reviving deep cut old IPs. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Oh man, I don't know. All right, well, let's think. Were there any games teased in like Astrobot that like seemed like maybe we're gonna get another one? I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think of like what type of game Sony maybe themselves would be willing to tease out. And it was like Ape Escape. I want to say my opinion, but I can't help but feel disappointed. I really would have liked Core to create something from zero. I just trust his judgment. I will be there day one. I mean, I get it. I mean, that's what's interesting is it almost sounds like, I don't know. It sounds like whatever this game's going to be, it's going to feel like truly like a new game. A mature Ape Escape. It's going to be a God of War Ragnarok remaster. Wipeout. Parasite Eve. We can see what other people are. It's not a new IP, but it might feel like one. Makes me think that we're working on a really obscure IP that no one's familiar with. Yeah. Yeah, I see the reply from Shinobi, by the way. Let it go. Yeah. All right. Well, it's not going to be the Order. So somebody says, assuming it's a Sony game IP and not Sony adopting another book or comic or movie, which it's been confirmed it's not. Active IPs currently: Horizon, Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, God of War, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, Uncharted, Ghost of Tsushima, MLB The Show, Helldivers, Astrobot, Sackboy / Little Big Planet, Returnal, Demon Souls, Twisted Metal, Destiny. Dormant IPs: Killzone, Resistance, Infamous, Sly Cooper, Ape Escape, Jack and Daxter, Motorstorm, SOCOM, Siphon Filter, The Getaway, Wipeout, Loco Roco, Patapon, Everybody's Golf, Puppeteer, Gravity Rush, Wild Arms, Legend of Dragoon, Medieval, Bib Ribbon, Dark Cloud, Siren, Warhawk / Starhawk. I mean, that's quite a few to choose from, man. Although that didn't list everything, I don't think, but I guess it listed all the IPs that have an actual chance. Knack 3. Let's see. Mm, sorry, I'm just reading through this Reddit post and seeing if Zone of War, kill. Okay. Yeah, everybody seems to be just totally. Yeah, I mean we're totally thrown off the trail, man. We have no idea. Nobody knows what this is going to be. Well, I mean, a few select people know, but at this point, whatever we thought this game was going to be, it's not going to be that. It's going to be something really unexpected, which is good, or at least I hope it's good. Could the IP be public domain, therefore it doesn't count as licensed? That's an interesting thought. That's it. I mean, geez, I don't know, man. That would be. Well, I mean, what IPs are public domain? Salvazard06 with a $2 chat says Heavenly Sword in the old God of War style. I've seen multiple people mention Heavenly Sword. I I don't know. I don't really see Heavenly Sword coming back. I think that was Ninja Theory developed, right? Winnie the Pooh. Nosferatu the game. As of right now, pushing polygons, we do not know. Lair. Oh man. Lair, that would be so funny. Dan says Lair 2, I'm in, baby. It's an old Naughty Dog game called Rings of Power. It was an RPG. Medieval. I mean, everybody's given their best guesses here. Well, I mean, yeah, somebody said like Jason Schreier was trying to clear things up, but in doing so, he seemingly just made things even more confusing. And I mean, I'm just kind of wondering. He said that he's going to do, if he talks about it again, it's going to be in a future write up for Bloomberg. I mean, would he? Do you think that's what he's going to do? He's just going to spoil it. He's going to come out and just let us know. Abandoned. He'll probably just let Santa Monica announce the game. Yeah, I mean, that would be like the more respectful thing to do. I mean, that's the thing. We shouldn't have to wait that long. Somebody asked me earlier in the stream, like, do I think we're going to have to wait for the PlayStation 6 for this game to get announced? I don't think so. At least I would hope not. Because, I mean, this game, whatever it is, has apparently been in development since like 2019, give or take. So, like, yeah, dude, this game's gotta be. You think it'll be the announcement at the Game Awards this year? I could see that. I could see that, yeah. Or like somebody said, maybe there is actually going to be maybe Sony is going to do a showcase. Kind of weird that out of nowhere Jason started mentioning or talking about Corey's new game. I think that was a yeah, I don't know. Ahoy Tyler, I don't know, man. I'm not sure about anything at this point. SDO, you're saying PlayStation gets so much hate, man. They do amazing remakes. People are critical. They make a sequel and it's claimed to be nothing new. They make a new exclusive IP and people say it won't sell well. Oh, I know, dude. I know. They're going to reimagine God of War again. It's going to be another reboot. Yeah, we've been hearing for a while about a new Uncharted game. I'll be honest, man. I do not see Santa Monica making an Uncharted game. I don't, because the thing is, Uncharted would not fit the bill of it's not new, but it feels new. Uncharted would not feel new. It would feel different in the sense that, like, oh wow, okay, it's a different studio making it, but it wouldn't feel new. Could they be working on Killzone or Resistance? Well, I mean, I don't know. We have to think of like Corey Barlog's expertise. I feel like I think Sony probably looks at him as, you know, he's like one of the top dogs, I guess you could say. You know, out of all the studios, he's I mean, look at what he directed God of War 2018, man, and that game beat Red Dead Redemption 2 for game of the year. Like, I feel like whatever he's working on, it's got to be something that Sony wants to really turn into something big. Like, you know, like really breathe new life into it and make it a whole new franchise, you know, or like revitalize it. And I feel like there's only so many games that Sony would there's only so many IPs that Sony owns that they would be willing to try to do that with. But you know, it's no, it's not a Superman game. Corey himself said he wanted to make a new IP with Sony's permission. Well, I mean, I don't understand why Jason would lie about that. Why would Jason Schreier be like, "Oh, it's not a new IP, it's just going to feel like one." Like what would be the harm in just saying, "Yeah, it is a new IP?" I don't think Jason Schreier doesn't do that stuff. He doesn't, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't mess with people. He doesn't try to play games, which is smart because, you know, yeah, that's an interesting thought, Digital Dude. You're saying the way Jason said, why would it be a new IP, makes me think it's going to be the next mainline God of War game in the next mythology. I mean, yeah. I mean that is interesting. I don't want to like overanalyze the way people are talking, but I mean, like, yeah, it's kind of wording it like, why does everybody think it's a new IP? Like, I well, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of a good question when you consider that all they've made for the last, like, you know, how many years now? It's been like 20 years. all they've made is God of War. So yeah, it's Corey. What's going on, man? We're talking about Santa Monica's new game, the one that Cory Barlog is directing. We don't know. It's not going to be a new IP. It's not going to be sci-fi. There were leaks that said new IP. Well, this is going to be weird if Jason Schreier, I don't know, like this is gonna do weird things to his reputation if he's wrong or if he's like messing around. Like nobody, like at this point, I don't think anybody's gonna believe he's just messing around. Because if it turns out like no, it's a brand new IP, then he's just flat out gonna be wrong. An Atreus solo game. Santa Monica themselves never said new IP. They always called it an unannounced game. That's no, you're right, Irfan. You're right. That is true. They always refer to it as their unannounced game, but it sounds a lot like new IP. So people, I think, the fact that Jason Schreier gave the meh face does not make me think God of War anything. Loki. I mean, maybe we're just totally overthinking this. Maybe at the end of the day, we're just totally overthinking it, and all it is like, yeah, Atreus is taking Kratos' place. And that's what's going to make it feel like a new IP. You know what, though? You know what? I think that's it. To me, that explains everything that everybody just said. I'm not saying I want it to be that, but it's like I look at it and I'm like, well, it would explain why Jason's like, why would it be a new IP? It would explain why Ashong is like, well, I'm interested to see how people are going to react. I think it's going to be amazing, but I'm not sure how people are going to feel. It's not sci-fi based. And to be honest, like neither Jason Schreier nor Eshong, neither of them said it's an older IP. It's just being assumed that it's an older IP, but it was never said by any insider that it's like some kind of dormant or older IP. So the more I think about it, it's like, well, spoilers for God of War Ragnarok here. If you look at how that game ended, it was pretty clear that Kratos is going to just hang back and be, he's going to be like the king, I guess, of, yeah, I don't think he's going to go. When I think about the ending of God of War Ragnarok, it doesn't seem like he's going to be with Atreus anymore. So the idea is like Atreus is going to kind of go do his own thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. That would be, that's going to be so tough if that's what they do. I don't think it'll be killing Kratos off, but just Kratos is now, he's older and he's chill and he's doing his own thing, being a king. I don't, he's being the God of War. I don't know. Because if you think about it, them introducing a game with Atreus as the main character, and it's like the next big thing from the studio, it is in the God of War universe. So it's not a new IP, but it's going to be starring an older Atreus, presumably. I don't know. I'm really starting to lean in this direction. Oh yeah, and I did say earlier it couldn't be a Thor game, but I don't know, maybe it could. Yo, what if you play as Thor's daughter? What if that's the game? What was her name again? I forget her name. God of War Ragnarok sold way beyond expectations. If a studio had the right to make a fully new IP, they should. Thrud. There we go. I don't know. This is, dude, now I'm, place your bets, man. Place your bets, because I don't know at this point. It seems like it could go in many different directions, but I don't like this. I don't like that there are these insiders. They know exactly what this game's going to be. God of War Egypt. Someone said Santa Monica just tweeted. There's no way they're making an Atreus game for the last 8 years. Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, let's not forget how much. Dude, Santa Monica Studio just tweeted out 6 minutes ago. Ain't no fucking way. Yo, who at Santa? I know you're here. Whoever runs the Santa Monica account, I know you're in the stream right now. And I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. They just tweeted out. I got to bring it up. Six minutes ago, they put this out. Hold on. I got to bring it up. Oh, sorry. Six minutes ago, bro. Oh, why is it not playing though? Dude, look at the timestamp. Top right corner, 7 minutes ago. We're getting a Loki game. That's that. Come on. How am I supposed to read this any other way? What's it say? It says Loki will go, Atreus remains. Well, I mean, if we did get a standalone Atreus game, he would be referred to as Loki going forward. He wouldn't be Atreus anymore. He'd be Loki. And now he would be the god of mischief. Dude, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be God of Mischief. But if you think about it, there might be a time jump. Atreus or Loki could be much older. You know? More, maybe in his prime. I don't know, man. That timing, though, you got to admit, that timing is wild. That's crazy. I would be really interested to see. See, my big concern with this idea of like the next game is it is set in the God of War universe and you're playing as Atreus, aka Loki, and it's like it's his own game. My concern is how do you win people over with that? Because there's just no denying that people are going to lose their ever loving minds if they find out that Atreus or that Kratos is getting sidelined. I mean, people were already kind of complaining with Ragnarok, with how many, areas of the game where you played as Atreus instead of Kratos. And I don't know. Loki is popular and cool. Trace is just a kid, though. I mean, I feel like the only way they could really do this, if they're serious, like if this is actually what they've been working on for the past like 6 or 7 years, the most effective way I think they could do it, yeah, they would have to age him up. He'd have to be like a full blown man, and he'd have to look badass. He'd have to definitely look like Kratos' son. But yeah, he will be Loki, and you are now playing as Loki, and like and Kratos will have to be even older. Kratos will have the white beard. He'll still be maybe in the game, but he'll now be playing like the Sully character. We're gonna get old Kratos, man. Actually, old Kratos sounds. He's pretty old, and he's very old in Ragnarok. But I'm talking like old, like elder Kratos. Gotta admit, it's a tantalizing thought. Would he still be this buff though? Would he still maintain the physique? Yeah, I mean, he is immortal, but he does seem to be aging. He does seem to be aging. That's crazy timing, though, man. Yeah, people know. People know what they're doing. They know. Damn, dude. That timing, though. Zeus was immortal, but he looked like an old man in God of War 3. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They could be going for that vibe. Gods don't lose their pecs. Problem is, Loki is tied with Thor and Zeus in mythology. Well, dude, if we look at the ending, if we analyze the ending of Ragnarok, I mentioned Thrud, right? Look at how her arc ended in that game. It didn't. It was left totally open ended. Like she picked up his Thor's hammer, and at least if I recall correctly, and like flew away with it. And it's very much insinuating like this isn't over. Like something's not over, you know. Um, yeah. I'm. You know what, man? I don't know. I'm really starting to think that this is what we're looking at. Yeah, it seems like it would be departing from the Norse mythology side of it. And I mean, look, man, if you played the DLC for God of War, Ragnarok, the Valhalla DLC, I know we're kind of talking about spoilers here, but I'm assuming mostly everybody here is already completed this stuff. Um, I mean, I feel like the Valhalla DLC for God of War really it was the true full circle moment for Kratos where it was him kind of just reconciling with himself, and confronting himself. Sindri will be the main villain. Dude, that would be I don't know about that one. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Tears weapons in Valhalla spoils it. What does it spoil? 0 point. And Corey the Legend Landiga with the Kratos picture. Always. Comes in and drops 5 membership gifts for you guys. Corey, thank you so much for that, man. I will add that to the goal here. And yeah, guys, if you want to help support the channel, support the content, consider dropping membership gifts. We'll try to hit that goal of 25. If we hit the goal of 25, we'll give this guy some treats. He's clearly he's just looking at me like, oh, he got up real quick. He's like, I gotta look ready. I gotta look ready.
I'm no hero. Never was. Never will be.
Oh boy. 4-hour leader. Hang tight, boss. We'll see. We'll see if we can get there. I think we'll be able to. Only way it works is if Kratos gives him the Blades of Chaos. If it's an Atreus game, then it'll be a massive game. You don't work on a small game for 8 years. Well, I'll tell you this, man. I I could be excited for this game. I could like I want more Kratos, obviously, and I feel like, man, trying to sell the God of War universe without Kratos, or not like without Kratos, but like Kratos is not the main character of this game set in the same universe. That's going to be a tough one. I think that's going to be a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I do kind of get it, man. If they want to be able to kind of expand the God of War universe, where it's not that not, at least I'm assuming they're not like killing Kratos off or anything like that. I don't know. I think that they would have to, like I said, they would have to do a bit of a time jump. I believe they would have to. I mean, let's just face it, man. Kratos is about as badass as it gets. They would have to make Loki like that ain't Atreus no more, bro. That's Loki. They'd have to really give him, I think, a completely different appearance. They'd have to give him the same type of energy that Kratos exudes, which I think is tough. Where like, yeah, Kratos is, like I said, man, is like as badass as it gets. Um, and I think that we would have to see. Are you serious? Boss just knocked down the treats. Guys, it's not time yet. It's not time. Okay. Literally all three of my cats. I know you can't see, the two others are down here. uh, you'd rather see something new, Scarlet? What if the tweet is intentionally misleading us? I mean, that tweet is. It could be. Yeah, it's really tough to tell whether we're being trolled or not. Um, Either that. I mean, that tweet is very intentional. They knew what they were doing. Like they knew exactly what they were doing when they posted that. It's either to mislead us or to let us know. Like there it is. Yeah, Silent Spartan asking the real questions. Does Kratos lock in and end up with Freya in the end? I mean, dude, if they do a time jump, who knows? Maybe they're like straight up married at that point, living together. Who knows? What was the tweet? It was the very ending scene of God of War Ragnarok where Kratos says, um, Atreus remains. Loki must go, but Atreus remains. That timing, though, man. That timing. You gotta love it. Let me go check on it one more time. All right. Let me see what people are saying. Yeah. It's really about time to show us a teaser of your next game. Well, I do want to mention this too. Keep in mind that if it's true that this game's going to get announced soon, we should be getting a state of play in September. Like, I mean, I know some people are thinking like we might still get like a showcase in September. I don't know that I'm holding out hope for a showcase. I'm not sure when to expect another actual PlayStation showcase, but I do feel like it's a pretty sure bet that we will get a state of play in September around that time. This could be the game that they're going to reveal at that state of play. Whatever the next Santa Monica game is. You think Sony won't talk about it till Yote's out? I wouldn't be so sure, man. They seem to be a little bit kind of all over the place. when it comes to their announcements. But yeah, I mean, if they that would be quite a big announcement to have right before. Well, no, they could. I don't know. They could kind of do both at the state of play. Show off more Ghost of Yotei, announce Santa Monica's new game. Theory time, Loki will be pawned off to a Greek deity. They will have a son. Kratos will be reborn. Yo, we got Kratos reincarnated over here, bro. Damn. He faces the Giants in the next game. Santa Monica Studio deserves a bigger stage. It should be the Game Awards. Yeah, you know what? Maybe that is the most likely. Well, I don't know. I mean, Sony's state of plays are pretty big. They're not as big as the Game Awards, truthfully, but yeah. Sony's gotten pretty comfortable revealing some of their games at state of plays, from what I could tell. What if it's a 2-player game? Oh, that'd be interesting. Seems kind of strange that Insomniac and now Santa Monica have put out tweets like this out of the blue. Maybe they're teasing. Maybe it's a tease of some kind. Kratos goes to China. A co-op game would be interesting. Well, I mean, here's another thing that I think people need to probably be aware of. Like, if we have correctly whittled it down to, okay, it's actually going to be another God of War game, or based in the God of War universe, it's going to be a Loki game. Angerboda is going to be, the companion character. I mean, they did make it clear. I feel like, yeah, maybe we're just overthinking it, bro. Because the more I think about the ending of Ragnarok, it feels kind of obvious what they were setting up. And this would also explain why this whole time we were thinking, like, we're going to get that standalone Atreus game, and it's going to be like a smaller side game, and that's the secret side project that they're working on, just to find out that no, the secret side project and smaller game that they're working on is actually like a God of War 2.5D game, where it's before he got his powers and everything. It turns out that no, you are getting an Atreus game, a Loki game. That's the next big one. That's what the ending of Ragnarok set up to a T. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, when you go back and you analyze, the like final moments of that game, every single thing points to, yeah, you're going on Loki's journey next. And I do worry, I'm not going to lie, I do worry about the reaction that this would also explain why, like, Ashang in the Reset Era forums, when he was talking about it, why he was saying, like, he's really curious to see how people react to it. It's not what anybody's really expecting. But that's the thing that kind of throws me off, because it's like, if I were to ask 100 people who played God of War Ragnarok if they would expect the next game to star Atreus, I mean, I feel like a good percentage of that 100 players would actually say, yeah, I could see that happening. So what is Eric Williams doing then? Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, to be fair, if we are getting like an Atreus game or like a Loki game, it doesn't mean that Kratos won't be in it, and it doesn't mean that he wouldn't play a vital role in it. I mean, he could play a huge role. I mean, there could be playable. Maybe it would just be kind of like what we got with Ragnarok, but reversed, where most of the time you're playing as Loki, but then you have these playable sections as Kratos. Maybe. Why would Corey work on more God of War? Well, see, that's the thing, is if he was like, that's maybe the whole idea of it, is it's not a new IP, but it's going to feel like a new IP. I mean, let's face it, man. If there is a Loki game, maybe they don't call it God of War. Maybe it is God of War Loki something. I don't know. They probably would want to keep the God of War title because that's the name, that's the brand, right? But Kratos is the brand. I mean, I feel like if you're going to do that, you have to. You're talking about reinvention. You're talking about doing what you did for God of War 2018, but now with Kratos' son. And again, like that's a big deal. Where it's like, man, that's not an easy task. How do you successfully do that? Especially when people are this attached to Kratos. The only way you do that is, I would say, probably by giving it to somebody like Cory Barlog, where it's like, well, this is the dude who did it for Kratos. Everybody thought Kratos was kind of maybe done after Ascension, and it just seemed like Santa Monica, they ran out of steam. This franchise is not dead, but it's just gonna die a slow, painful death, like we've seen many other franchises, and instead it gets totally reinvented. I don't know. I could see that. I could see Cory Barlog feeling like that's not necessarily God of War again. That's something totally different. I don't know. It's a super interesting conversation to have because we could be completely wrong about everything. We went from saying maybe this is a new War of the Monsters to, oh no, it's a Loki game. God of Mischief, Rise of Loki. Well, see, that's the thing, man. The God of, like, the property is God of War. And I understand, like, if you're gonna have a game starring Loki, you maybe would want to change that to God, yeah, God of Mischief or something like that. But a first person God of War, bro. But the thing is, the naming, I don't know, the name is important. People know God of War. God of War is the property. It's the IP name. Um, I, yeah, I feel like that's kind of risky. He's only the God of Mischief in the Norse pantheon, which Kratos ended. Yeah, maybe he'll be known as the God of War and wherever he's traveling to next. I mean, I'll be honest, man. Either way, I'm excited. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't want to assume to know how I'm gonna feel about Santa Monica's next game when it's revealed, but I mean, they haven't let me down. I absolutely loved and adored God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, and there's some of my favorite games ever, man. And yeah, the reinvention of Kratos is like next level to me. So I trust the team. I do. I don't know. The question is if I'm going to be as excited for whatever they're doing next as I would be for, like, a God of War in Egypt or something with Kratos again. I don't know. That's what it's kind of stacked up against. But this is another one of those situations where Santa Monica Studio, in my eyes, has absolutely earned the benefit of the doubt. Certainly with Cory Barlog, and and what he's done. And so it's like, hell yeah, man. Bring it on. Whatever it is. I'm stoked. I will be stoked until I have a reason not to be. It's just so difficult with all of this, with all these different insiders chiming in and all this, so much buzzing. Really have to wonder. Yeah, exactly. Santa Monica, they're an S tier studio. So absolutely. I have full faith in them. And I guess at this point, it's just a matter of, like, assuming that. Can you guys chill? Come on. Cats are fighting over here. Like reenacting the battle between Kratos and Thor. Mrs. MEG says, whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be amazing. The cats do want snacks, yeah. There will be more. True God of War. They say at the end of Ragnarok and also in Valhalla, there's much to do. Yeah. I mean, that's true. I'm making it sound like they totally ended Kratos' arc, like he's done. But like, yeah, they do kind of make it seem like, yeah, he Kratos isn't done either. He's still got a bunch of shit to do too. All right. What if it's just you're going back and forth? No, you know, I don't know. I can't. Speculation time has to be over, right? How far can I take this? S1 Xbox, you're saying just finished the skate tutorial and intro challenges. The gameplay feels really good, just like the old games. Incredible. I love to hear it. Thank you for getting back to me, by the way. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate that. That gives me a lot of confidence. That's the biggest thing I was worried about, is if it wasn't going to feel like the older skate games. Like, it had such a unique feel to them. I'm glad to hear that they retain that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing that game when it drops. God of War Egypt. Their gods attack the Norse pantheon and kidnap Atreus. It's God of War 7's plot. I mean, dude, that'd be a hell of a justifiable reason for Kratos to go on another god-killing rampage. I mean, that would be pretty. That'd actually be pretty sick. I mean, I feel like that almost happened with God of War Ragnarok, except it wasn't like he wasn't like captured against his will. He was kind of like manipulated. Low key, a cat. God of War is what we need. Yeah, Nathan Drake, absolutely. Yeah, we talked about that 50 plus gamer Shinobi shutting down the order rumor. Oh, I'm glad we at least got clarity on that. I'll I'll always have some kind of copium, when it comes to the order, because I really do feel like that game, it just had so much potential, that world, characters, and the gameplay wasn't like really that fleshed out, but I think I may actually just me yeah, we'll just keep it at that. Atreus wasn't a big name when they started work. Wasn't a big name when they started work on this project. How they've been working on the Atreus game before Ragnarok. I mean, listen, the biggest twist here, and it would be so funny because it's not a twist at all, but it would feel like the biggest twist. The biggest twist would just simply be they reveal their next game. It's God of War something. And it's literally just Kratos and Atreus again. Turns out they're going out there again for whatever reason. Like, I don't know. It's just nothing shocking. You know what I mean? It is like the most just like, oh. But that would mean that insiders are messing with us too, and I don't think they're going to take it that far. We still don't know who blew the horn in 2018. Yeah, we do. Corey's specific request to have a trace leaving is one of the endings for God of War Ragnarok. It's got to mean something. You think Corey Barlog's working on Bloodborne? There we go. That would explain why it's been taking so long. Don't bite that. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Okay. No. You're right. You're right. We still don't know. My bad. You're right. We still don't know exactly who blew the horn. And it says here in God of War 2018. Well, no, I thought we got. Hold on. Hold on. I could have swore we got the answer to this. Oh, okay. Okay, so Corey Barlog speaks randomly on the lore. He specifically said that it would be explained in the next game, so we just have to wait. Of course, making theories if you want. This was back in November of 2022. Barlog stated that this mystery would be solved one day, probably in the next God of War chapter, and that he would be coherent enough to actually create the moment to answer it. Dude, that's why bro's been stressing out this whole time. That's what's taking so long. He can't justify the blowing of the horn. All right, let's go over some of the theories then. So yeah, in God of War 2018, the identity of the person who blew the horn to summon the world serpent is not explicitly revealed. While there are theories suggesting it could be Kratos from the future, Hemdall, Tyr, or even Baldur, the game's creative director Cory Barlog has indicated it was someone following them at the time and has teased the mystery on social media, according to multiple gaming sites and Reddit posts. Here's a breakdown of the possibilities why it remains a mystery. Theories. Kratos from the future. Some believe Kratos might have traveled back in time using the, I forget how to pronounce it, the horn associated with Hemdall in Norse mythology to summon the serpent for knowledge. Hemdall, given his association with the horn in Norse myths and his presence in the game, he's a popular suspect. Tyr, another god with potential connections to the horn and the world serpent, but less prominent in the game's lore. Baldur, some theories suggest Baldur could have blown the horn as a misdirection. Faye, Kratos' deceased wife. One theory suggests that Faye, through some unknown means, may have orchestrated events to set Kratos and Atreus on their path. Cory Barlog's statements. Barlog has acknowledged the mystery and hinted at a hidden clue within the game, but also jokingly suggested it was Mark Ruffalo, according to gaming news sites. Ragnarok's lack of an answer. God of War Ragnarok does not provide a definitive answer, further solidifying the mystery. In essence, the identity of the Hornblower in God of War 2018 remains a compelling and unresolved question for fans. Dude, why is that not in my mind, dude? Like, why did I not realize that? We got some multiverse shit going on, bro. Kratos from the future. Someone following them. Yo, does anybody else get the feeling that that even Corey didn't know? He's like, shit, man. I don't know. Yeah, thank you for that. I totally. Maybe Odin. Well, it is interesting that apparently shortly after Ragnarok released, or the month it released, Cory Barlog, at least based off of what I just read, he did confirm that it's something we will get an answer to in the next chapter of God of War, or whatever. So we'll see, man. We'll see what they end up doing. I mean, who knows? And Silent Spartan, bro. Silent Spartan's like, I'm blowing the horn. I'm blowing the horn today. Silent Spartan comes in with another 50 member gifts out of nowhere. Dude, even on a day where I started the stream later.
Holy shit.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yo, Silent Spartan coming in. Oh, wait. You know what? Silent Spartan, I got a soundbite just for you that I meant to actually. It's not literally just for you. We could say it's just for you for now, but it was actually going to be for like anybody who drops 50 member gifts. And considering how frequently you've been doing it, I guess it would be for you in this case. But let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna play the soundbite. It's so stupid. Also, I'm gonna issue like a sound warning if you're wearing like headphones, just so you don't have your ears destroyed. I also want to say before I play the soundbite, please tell me if you recognize what this is from. Somebody here has to know what the soundbite is from, but here you go. This is for the 50 bomb. Wait, hold on. Let's start over. And there you go, bro. I see Jim Ryan also received a membership gift. Irfan, is that what it sounded like? Oh, God. Somebody has to know where that's from. Somebody has to know. I'm starting to wonder if this is one of those things, because I'm seeing a lack of LOLs in the chat. This could be a situation where me and Mrs. MBG find something incredibly funny, but it's actually not that funny. Because when we stumbled across this, we were dying, and I was like, "This has to be a soundbite." You want to play it again? I'm a little bit afraid to play it again, but you guys are asking me to play it again. All right, hold on. I'll play it one more time. Jeez. He's like, elaborate. MBG, please elaborate. Oh, God. Oh, man. Wow, this is interesting. Nobody knows what it's from. Somebody said, I mean, Petrov just says a plane crash. You know what? That could sound, yeah, that does sound pretty bad, doesn't it? Without context, this sounds pretty bad. One of the Diddy tapes. Okay. You know what? Maybe that soundbite's not going to work the way I thought it was. Mrs. MBG, she said it. It's from, I know it's so random. It's from Extreme Home Makeover, which I don't watch, but I saw a video recently of this episode. Somebody was covering this episode where they actually blew this person's house up purposely. They blew it up. And they kept playing this clip of like the house exploding and people cheering, and the main guy of the show just screaming, and like he just kept screaming over and over again, and it was just the funniest shit ever. And I was like, there it is. I'm like, that's the 50 bomb. That's the 50 bomb right there. But no one was going to get that. The only reason I thought people might get it is because it seems to be a meme that's in circulation right now. Like people kind of picked up on it, and it may be about to become a big meme, or maybe it's only in certain places. But either way, Silent Spartan, that's for you dropping 50 membership gifts, man, which brings us up to 56 members on the day. So we, once again, thank you so much, man. Incredible support. I guess this means we'll have to do reps. Well, we have to feed the beast. Yeah, my cats are over here being like, bro, is it time yet? It's time. It's time. PS Triple. Yeah, there we go. It was on Chris James, his YouTube channel, his latest video. Yeah, actually, we've been watching that guy, Chris James, for a little while. It's pretty good stuff. It's pretty funny. Not gonna lie. I feel like I have to be this close to Chapter 9 on Death Stranding 2. I have to be this close, dude, because I've been playing Chapter 8 for a while now. And Silent Spartan does more. Silent Spartan comes in with another 20 members. Gifted. No, dude. He dropped 70 members on the last stream, and he's coming in doing it again. This man is single-handedly going to make me work out at the end of every stream. Silent Spartan, the membership monster. He does it again, man. I need W's in the chat. I need 20 bombs in the chat. This guy, he keeps dropping these gifts. And we will have members content coming, by the way. I won't be able to do it today because I got off to a very late start, but either tomorrow. I think we're going to try to strive to have 2 members lounges this week. That's my goal. The last one was a good one. The last members lounge we did, we were reacting to a Mr. Matty Plays video, and I might want to start doing a little bit more of that. Maybe some more reactionary stuff in the members lounges, because it was a good time. I just got to not get too sidetracked with the existential crisis that is my thoughts on AI. But Silent Spartan, bro, I mean, geez. He just crushed another goal. We're now at 76 members, guys. So if you got gifted a membership, make sure you go check out the member content, and make sure you thank Silent Spartan, dude. And Corey. Corey dropped 5 earlier, too. But make sure you thank Silent Spartan if you got a member gift, because this dude has been... he's been the GOAT. No joke. He's been dropping crazy support for the channel. So thank you so much for that, man. It makes it so we can continue to do what we do here. Isn't that right, boss? It's time. Here we go, bro. Hang tight, guys. Hang tight. We'll do one at a time, okay? All the cats are congregating now. Don't you think if they change the games fundamentally, plus you get to play as Atreus, it will result in a great disinterest among its fans? As Atreus isn't an interesting character at all. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing, man. People do have an expectation with God of War. They absolutely have an expectation with God of War. So I'm not... I do feel like in order for Santa Monica to make... If they were to do a dedicated Atreus game, they would have to do some crazy over-the-top stuff that would really win people over and be like, you know what, actually? This is amazing. Because I do fear that if they were to go in that direction, there would be a kind of knee-jerk reaction, which would be like, where's my Kratos? Like, where's Kratos, dude? You can't have God of War without Kratos. Oh, yeah. You know what? I want to, this is a little bit of an aside here, but I want to point out something that I read recently. So it's a little bit random. It's a shift away from God of War, but I came across a post from Okami13 on Twitter, and he doesn't like really, he's not like he doesn't really involve himself with like the console stuff. Is what I'm trying to get at here. Like, he's not like some kind of fanboy or console warrior or anything like this. And he put out this post, but he's a big fan of Ghost of Tsushima. And he put out this post and he said, why are people saying Ghost of Yotei looks too much like Ghost of Tsushima as if it's a bad thing? Ghost of Tsushima was already one of the most visually striking open world games ever made. As long as the gameplay and story are good, I will take more Tsushima every day of the week. Now, I haven't checked on the replies. I'll be honest, I'm not too interested in checking the replies because, you know, people are going to say what they're going to say. But I wanted to highlight this because it feels like a little bit of proof, at least in my opinion, that, like, yeah, man, there seems to be like a concerted effort from like maybe a small but vocal group of people that are trying real hard to downplay Ghost of Yotei. Like, what I'm trying to say is you're not fanboying. You're not fanboying if you like what you see with Ghost of Yotei. You know, are some people maybe taking it too far and going over the top. Maybe. I think that happens with every game, but I thought that was just worth pointing out because we were talking on the last stream about some of the negativity that was flowing in the direction of Ghost of Yotei, and how I think a lot of it was not. A lot of it just felt kind of fake. If not fake, it just felt like, might not call it a God of War game. Kratos will be the sidekick. Mm. We're just past the era of sequels being able to have a huge graphical jump. No, I haven't seen that Mighty Keith skit yet. You know what, though? I will try to keep this in mind. Chat, the next time we're in a members lounge, should be tomorrow or the day after. Remind me to react to this Mighty Keith skit, because it sounds like a good one. Luna. Man, all three cats were ready. One after the other. They're like in line, waiting for their turn. It runs laps around the first game visually. Will we speak about this 4chan stuff? The intergalactic leak? Yeah, I don't know. I feel I originally came in feeling like I wanted to talk more about it, but I'm almost wondering if I want to. I don't know if I want to save it or if I kind of want to wait a little bit, because the more I was thinking about it, I covered it in my video that I put out, but the more I was thinking about it, I'm like, it doesn't really feel like much of a leak. The more I like kind of pondered it, right? Because it was like you could kind of infer everything that was said based off of what Neil Druckmann has told us. So I'm almost just kind of wondering if I'm going to hang back a little bit, and kind of hoping that something similar happens with Intergalactic that we just had happen with Santa Monica, where we have like multiple people kind of coming together, multiple insiders, people who are in the know with what's going on behind the scenes, giving us some hints. The last hint we got for Intergalactic from, I think it was also Jason Schreier's, he said that game is not coming out in 2026. Apparently it's a game that they're fully preparing to it's going to be a 2027 game. But I still believe it could be an early 2027 game. Oh yeah, Nathan, it's going to be painful, man. Just seeing the way people are reacting right now to Ghost of Yotei, Nathan Drake. Not people who are normal. But the way some people are reacting to Ghost of Yotei, yeah, it's not going to be good for Intergalactic, man. Judging by the Ghost of Yotei state of play, it didn't exactly bring a big visual upgrade or a perceptible change enough for it to be called a next-gen game. Yeah, I could kind of see that. I don't know, though. Like, I guess when I think of Ghost of Tsushima and I think of a sequel to it, I just think, like, if you could just make it look better in general, doesn't have to be night and day. Like, I do think there was a bigger leap between Death Stranding 1 and 2 than what we're seeing with Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei. But, I mean, dude, I have these like 4K photos saved on my phone. All right, Silent Spartan. Dude, thank you so much, man. Again, really, really appreciate all the support you've been showing the channel. I'll be sure to get some reps in at the end of the stream. Absolutely. It's the least I could do, man. And thank you so much. Seriously. So enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you can catch, the rest of the stream later after the fact. And I hope to see you, hopefully throughout the week, maybe in the members lounges. And good shit, man. Thank you for all the support. The criticism of Yotei is how it will be able to run on the PS4 and Switch 2, as they kept the same engine and visual framework. Oh yeah, I mean, I have no doubt. Yeah, if that's what we're talking about when it comes to like a next gen game, I think Yote could absolutely run on a PS4. I think they could get it working. It'd probably just have to have some compromises, but I think this is Sony just kind of reinforcing what we've been saying for a little while now, that they still do care about selling consoles. And I think that this is their effort to try to, yeah, I mean, come on. If you like Ghost of Tsushima on PS4, here's why you're going to want to buy a PS5. If you haven't upgraded yet, here's why you're going to want to upgrade. I think those people exist. Certainly. I think there are still people on PS4 who played Tsushima. They love Tsushima, and they're probably sitting there being like, yeah, I'll get a PS5 when the sequel comes out. And that time is now, you know? But yeah, I think, I will say, with Ghost of Yotei, it doesn't look like they overhauled the engine. It looks like they've made improvements to the engine, but it doesn't look like some kind of overhaul. I'll be honest, like, it does kind of make me wonder if maybe, and I know that this is maybe a weird thought because it's so far away, but it's like, well, the next game from Sucker Punch will clearly be a PlayStation 6 game. I'm wondering if that, whatever that ends up being, if it is another Ghost game, I wonder if that's like going into the PS6 is when they're going to basically completely overhaul their engine, and maybe even just build a new engine entirely. Uh, but yeah, man, I do see, again, I was talking about this in my last stream. I do see some of the criticisms that people have for Ghost of Yotei, but frankly, I'm in disagreement with almost all of them. Where it's like, I'm not trying to. I don't want to come off as like defensive. I'm not trying to defend the game. I don't think it needs defending, but I do just get the general feeling of like, yeah, man, if you enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima, this looks like it's going to be an amazing follow up. That I don't really see anything here that would make you go, I'm going to enjoy this less. One of the more interesting things, and I would love to, maybe we could make this like members content. I don't know when, maybe in like the next month or so. I would have to beat Death Stranding 2 first, and I know I'm kind of like bouncing all over the place here talking about these games, but I saw that Skill Up posted his review of Death Stranding 2, and it was a 45-minute review, so it's a very long one. I didn't watch it because I didn't want anything spoiled, but I was just kind of looking over the comments a little bit, just kind of trying to get a feel for like, how did he feel about Death Stranding 2? I know that he was one of the people that went to Kojima Productions and previewed it for like 30 hours or something. And it seems like he didn't enjoy the game as much. Like he seemed to be quite critical based off of what the comments I was reading. He seemed to be quite critical towards it. But what was really interesting to me is there was this one comment that was left, and it was an entire book, right? And I normally don't read comments like that, and I don't even think I read the whole thing because I wanted to save it. But basically, this person was like, I'm going to counter your review, like a counter argument, essentially. So all the things that he was hypercritical of, this person responded to it. And I thought, okay, here we go, Death Stranding Defense Force. But then I was reading it, and it was like really well thought out. And I'm like, actually, you're totally right. Like, actually, everything I'm reading here, you're totally correct. And it was kind of fascinating. Like, it made me way more interested in watching the Skill Up review, just for the fact that like this person who had well thought out counter arguments to the thing. And I know it's like, it's all just opinion at the end of the day, but basically some of the things that Skill Up was complaining about, this person was like, no, I just don't think you are like, I don't think, not that you weren't playing the game right, but like things that you're claiming aren't there are actually there. Like things that you're claiming you can't do, you can actually do. Things that you're complaining about in this game, you weren't complaining about in the first game, even though they're mechanically the same. And I just found that really fascinating for some reason. I don't know. I just kind of latched onto it a little bit, where I'm like, I don't know. Like, is it because I guess it just made me wonder, like, when does getting more of the same become a negative in some people's opinion. Like for like I'm wondering now, like, are there going to be people where they're like, yeah, go, this thing that I'm doing in Ghost of Yote that I did in Ghost of Tsushima, it felt way funner in Ghost of Tsushima. And I guess that's kind of like it reveals a certain novelty, I guess, with the first time you experience certain mechanics in a game. But then again, I don't know. People love live service. So I don't know. Um, you think you think he rushed his review? I don't know. I mean, it was a 45-minute review. It's pretty long. MBG, you can criticize or counter argue criticism. It's called sharing a more informative thought or a different perspective. The vast amount of people just adopt a widely viewed vid, and that's it. Yeah, yeah. There's too much parroting that goes on. That's why, like, dude, I know it's so funny because somebody in the community tab of my channel, this was something that was posted, I think, like over a week ago, but I think I forget who exactly posted it, but it was about, it was highlighting the fact that Death Stranding 2 dropped to an 89 on Metacritic. It dropped down to an 89, and I responded, this person was saying, like, well, it hung on to a 90 for quite some time. It took a while to drop down to an 89. And I responded and I was like, yeah, I think GameSpot's review should be disqualified. Like straight up. Because like I read that review and I thought, I've seen games like the important thing to understand here, it's not that review scores matter that much, but it kind of reflects what you're saying, Tarnish, is that people look to the numbers to inform their opinion to a degree. Or if not their opinion, their decision, right? Somebody sees a 90, that makes them more likely to buy a game than if they see an 88 or something like that. It just, even though it's only 2 points, just 2 numbers, it doesn't really, at the end of the day, it's like, what difference does it really make? I mean, it's the power of the numbers, man. It's why so many review outlets still use the numbers, where it's like, can a single number really represent an entire game? In a lot of people's minds, yes, it's a simplification, maybe an oversimplification. But the main point that I'm trying to drive home here is that when I was looking at the reviews of Death Stranding 2 when it came out, I was immediately interested in the lower reviews just because I was curious who was going to be there and why. And you have like, yeah, I mean, you have some of the usual suspects, but GameSpot was, they gave it a 6 out of 10. I'm like, all right, well, GameSpot, I don't know if they're actually respected. I don't think they're respected. But the fact of the matter is GameSpot holds a ton of weight in Metacritic, and same thing with like IGN, like the big juggernaut outlets, whatever score they give, it's going to hold the most weight and therefore have the most influence on the final score of the Metacritic. And so I was reading the review with you guys of Death Stranding 2 from GameSpot, and the person, hold on. Sorry, I had to let lay out. The person who did the review, they docked points because they said that they didn't like the way Kojima was portraying women in this game. And they even went as far to highlight that there's a specific mission where you have to photograph the 3 female characters together, and that it made them feel a certain way. They didn't like it. And yeah, and they were complaining about feet. There's one of the characters, and like one of the complaints was that this character doesn't like wearing shoes and constantly takes their shoes off and likes to be barefoot. Now, here's what's crazy to me. When I first read that review and I was reading that, I was thinking this is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But I also thought in my mind, somewhere in my mind, I'm like, well, if they're willing to put this in their review earnestly and make this a reason why we're going to give it a 6 out of 10. Death Stranding 2 a 6 out of 10, and this is one of the reasons we're dropping maybe a whole point or 2 points or whatever. I'm like, maybe it is pretty egregious. Like, how in your face is it? Dude, all I can tell you guys is I'm past the point. I've encountered these two things, and I can tell you with 100% certainty, GameSpot's review should be disqualified. Not because I care about, like, oh no, now it's at an 89 and not a 90. It should be at a 92. It's not because that. It's because, dude, that 89, part of what people are seeing when they see that final number, and the people who are determining whether or not they want to give this game a chance because of that, is literally determined by a person who said, I felt uncomfortable taking a photo of 3 females who were just being silly and frankly not even doing sexual. I was expecting sexual poses. No, there was nothing sexual about it. Like, they were just being kind of silly. And it was like the most innocent shit ever. And with the whole feet thing, I'm like, even that is like, dude, that's just funny. Like, that's just flat out funny, if anything. And it's just crazy to me that, like, we're still kind of allowing quite literally some of the dumbest. I mean, just like, dude, this is not a valid criticism of this video game or this product. And yet, of course, somehow you're the person that's going to give a score where your score is going to be the equivalent of like 10 or 15 other outlets. Dude, I'm sorry, man. It's just stuff like that where it's like, this would be the equivalent of, I bet you this person would say, I'm going to give Ghost of Yote a higher score because I'm playing as a female. It stars a female. That gets points for me. Like, that, you're part of the problem. Just like if somebody wanted to give a lower score to Ghost of Yote because you're playing as a female, you're part of the problem, you know? And it just really does still get under my skin to a degree that people, that this is tolerated, bro. Like, come on, are we not past this shit yet? You know? So all this is to say that I don't want games journalism, not even just journalism, but the gaming industry. I feel like the reviews shouldn't be this much of a joke. You know, I feel like these things like Metacritic scores and review scores, I feel like they should be more helpful than they actually are. But when I see this type of stuff, it's like, dude, you can't trust anything. And I think this is why I continue to come to the conclusion at the end of the day, like, who gives a shit what anybody has to say about anything? Do you? Like, I know that sounds so simple and like, well, like, duh, but there's more discourse, there's more conversation happening than ever before on the internet in regards to everything. And I feel like the saying of just do you, just do what if you want to buy something, buy it. If you want to watch something, watch it. If you want to play something, play it. Who cares what anybody thinks? That's more applicable now than ever before. It really is, because like it's crazy to me to think, and this is like the whole point I'm trying to get at. It's crazy to me to think that I'm playing Death Stranding 2, and as of right now, this game, if I had to give it, I think I'm close to the end of chapter 8. I'm about to approach chapter 9. What I've played so far is like, dude, this game is easily a 9 out of 10, just based off of what I played. And I'm not even, I mean, I think about like 60% on the game, 65%, give or take. So this game could easily, within that time, by the time I get to that 100%, become a 10 out of 10. It's crazy to think that this is a game that could easily be sitting at a 92, 93 on Metacritic, and it's not because some D-bag didn't like the fact that Kojima was like, here, take 2 minutes in this game and take a photo of these chicks. And that's it. And this person was like, I'm taking 2 points off now. Crazy. Like, to me, that's insanity. So, point is, fuck you, GameSpot. You suck. I remember GameSpot took a point off of the Ghost of Tsushima because they couldn't cut through bamboo. Dude, I'm starting to think GameSpot might literally be the worst. Because, yeah, dude, I will never forget their Days Gone review. That was the worst offender I've ever seen, bro. Oh my God. Like, that was the day I knew, like, GameSpot is going to just be the bane of Metacritic scores, man. Well, Knight of Cypher, that's the best way to do it. To me, that's the best way to do it. You're saying you just prefer to judge based on your own experience or experiences. You don't like review sites or award shows. Yeah, I mean, truthfully, that's how I ultimately feel, but I can't help but get caught up in the zeitgeist, I guess. You know, I can't deny that when Ghost of Yotei comes out, like, the talk of the town is going to be, how did it review? What's the Metacritic score? And I'll tell you what, I'm paying close attention to that GameSpot review. But yeah, man, it is, I think, best when you can disconnect from that and remove yourself from it and just get back to the kind of basics of determine for yourself. Does something look good to you or not? Does something look appealing to you or not? What is your natural inclination towards this? And it's not to say that your natural inclination isn't wrong sometimes. It is wrong sometimes. And everybody's had that experience of, I got burned on a game that I thought looked good. It wasn't good. That I thought would be good, and it was bad. We've all been there. Same thing with movies, shows, food, I mean, it's everything. But that's part of the experience, I feel like it would be better to take a chance on something. Yeah, I mean, like, Mind's Eye is a very extreme example. I feel like this is where you can kind of see, you can have a greater appreciation for reviews and paying attention to the zeitgeist a little bit, because it's like, if you're somebody totally out of the loop, you may see the marketing of Mind's Eye and be like, that looks pretty good. And I saw people saying that. Like, you see the trailer, you think, okay, this looks kind of cool. It's a single player game. And then you find out that it's like, oh my God, this game is like a broken mess and practically a scam in some cases, right? Stuff like that, I think, does highlight the importance. But outside of that, I start to question, like, how useful is this really? Let it be known that GameSpot gave DS1 a 9 out of 10. You think Metacritic needs to do better? What did GameSpot say about Days Gone? Well, the whole situation with that is, I forget the name of the woman who did the review. I don't think she's in the games industry anymore, but she basically, she made it like political, She made it clear that she had a problem that it was a gruff biker dude that you're playing as. I remember one of the points was like, why are all the zombies white? And like, that was so comical, because it's like, if you actually played the game and listened to their, like, if you knew anything about the game and you paid like just some attention, they explain that the virus turns, it changes the pigmentation of the skin to like pure white. And so basically everybody becomes albino. Like, they explain that in the game. And it just, there's actually more to it than that. I made a whole video on it years ago, but it was just depressing to me, because it was like, so what's your score then, GameSpot? And they're like, oh, 5 out of 10. And it was just total facepalm moment where I'm like, 5 out of 10. Like, at least other reviews that I was seeing were claiming that the game was having technical issues. And I'm like, okay, if that's true, I could see why they're docking points. Again, it's people who are inserting themselves into games journalism and becoming reviewers that it's like they're focused on the wrong things. Like, we just want to know, like, is this a good game or not, man? It's like, well, let me tell you how I have a problem, because this Deacon St. John character, he's too white and too gruff. It's like, and he's too male. It's like, what the fuck is the game good or what? And that stuff was, it's not exclusive to Days Gone. It still happens, as we can see with Death Stranding 2, where it's like, you guys are just, you're making it harder and harder to take anything here seriously, you know? And I feel like it does a great disservice to the games industry, where it's like, we just need to be more mature about this shit at the end of the day. They're activists, not journalists. Yeah, and that's the problem, man. Like, again, I don't give a shit about any of these people's political opinions. All I'm asking is, please don't let that impact your reviewing of a video game. Not enough beta energy, 6 out of 10. IGN review / hands-on of Arc Raiders is absolutely dog shit quality. I mean, the truth is, I feel like all of these outlets are on their last leg. I feel like they don't have much longer. They've been decaying slowly. And I just think when we see stuff like this, it's like you're making it happen faster. These are the same people who cried Dead by Daylight is racist because Leatherface had skins of all the characters' faces on. Oh my god, I remember that. And you know what? The developers, they caved. You're right. You're absolutely right. Leatherface in Dead by Daylight, like really early in the game, would wear he would wear skins of all the characters' faces. And one of them was black, and people lost their minds over it. And I'm like, okay, like, it's fucking Leatherface. Like, look at this guy with a chainsaw that wants to kill you and eat you. But this is where we draw the line. Like, okay. It just, I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like I understand that people are sensitive to stuff. I try to be understanding of that. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's just like, oh, come on, man. Like, part of being mature, I think part of being mature is understanding that, like, being easily offended by things, especially things that just seem kind of really not that bad. Like ultimately it's like, is this really, like, is this really doing damage right now? But getting so offended over it's like, that is the opposite of maturity, in my opinion. It's like, come on, grow up a little bit, like getting your panties in a twist over what exactly? And I get it, it becomes tough because sometimes, like, the more tolerant you are, people start pushing things further and further, and then it becomes all, look at what we're willing to tolerate now. And I get it, like, that does happen. I'm not going to make it sound like that doesn't happen. Things can get out of hand, but it's like, it can't be. I always say it's like you can't exist in one extreme or the other. Everything can't be perfectly buttoned up and exactly as it should be, because we don't live in the Garden of Eden. We don't live in a utopia. But we also we can also lean into the other side and be like, well, just screw it all. Let's just let it all hang out, and say F it and just be the worst. It's like, no, just be fucking decent. Like, that's all. Just be decent. You don't even have to be good. Just be decent. And I feel like that's the problem, is like people get so that, like, people who get so easily offended and the people who want to constantly do the offending, it's like they're two peas in a pod, man. It's yin and yang. And I feel like most of us are just kind of mature, rational adults most of the time that are just kind of, if not in the middle, just, a little bit little bit over here, a little bit over there, but not all the way, either way. And we're just kind of looking at this shit like, what's going on? I don't know, like, what's going on here, man? The exaggerated swagger of a black teen. Oh, man. Please tell me that was a GameSpot review. Please tell me that it was, wasn't it? I bet you it was. It was the Miles Morales GameSpot review. People try too hard to suck the fun out of gaming. We play games to escape the BS of the real world, but some try hard to force it into gaming. Well, that's the thing, man. I think there's no denying that people want an escape, for sure. But I also argue that people want to... I do think people want to experience a certain level of emotionality as well. I mean, it all depends on what type of game and what type of experience you're gravitating towards. But this is why I've always said that, like, two things shouldn't be confused here. A great story or somebody weaving a story that evokes emotion and gets you thinking, that should not be confused with somebody who has something they need to say, and they're gonna do it in the most overt way possible, in the most heavy-handed way possible. That's just gonna basically do the opposite of immerse you and make you more interested and more invested. And I think that one of the problems we've seen, I mean, it's always existed, but I think it's become more prevalent in the last 6 or 7 years, is like, too many people have something that they want to say, and oh my God, it was their GameSpot review. Okay, of course it was. Too many people have something that they want to say, and that's fine. Everybody has something that they want to say, but they've put themselves in these positions where it's like, and I'm going to use this game or this show or this whatever, like, I'm going to use this as the vector to get my message across. Even that is not a bad thing, because we see that all the time. It's how it's done, right? Like, if it's done in a way that can get even the most, I guess you could say, closed-minded person to maybe think for just a moment, job well done. That's not easy to do. It's a balancing act. That requires nuance. That requires subtlety. That requires the ability to stir somebody's emotions lightly and not rattle their cage, and that is actually how you can slowly open people's minds and get them to kind of try to see different points of view and think a little bit differently. And that's a great thing when that's achieved. But a lot of these days, it's all about the inflammatory engagement response. And that actually does apply to video games. Certainly, it applies to every piece of media. And, eventually what you end up getting are people who just become so desensitized or apathetic that it's just like, you lost them. You lost them. Like, you could have had a great relationship with this fan or artist. And when I say relationship, I just mean like, like, you could develop something healthy that people really appreciate and learn to appreciate over time. But instead, it's just like, you just want to, I don't know, you just want to throw more fuel into the fire, thinking that that's going to, I don't know, that's going to help anything. Like, what exactly are we trying to burn down right now? I know it's getting like a little too deep here, maybe needlessly, but I think, a lot of people see this. It's why I just can't really tolerate. I still use Twitter a little bit, I'm still posting on there and I'm still checking it from time to time. But I realize, like, I'm becoming apathetic towards it, because it's like, dude, it's always, and same thing with YouTube. Like, I can barely scroll YouTube anymore because every thumbnail I see, every title I see, it's always the same shit, where it's something over the top. If it's not over the top, it's something so random that I'm like, who even thought of this? And that's not bad, but it's just, that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, there's so much useless information. It's like, do you want to watch this 20-minute video where I explain, like, some of the most useless information that you're going to forget immediately after the video and you're going to question why you even watched it. It's like, that's not harmful, but it's just not what I'm looking for. And then on the other side of that, it's like, it's just people with their faces in the thumbnail looking like they're, well, I got to be careful what I was about to say there, but you know what I'm talking about. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, I'm starting to go on what feels like an old man rant right now, but it does just feel like in certain areas, things are truly, they've been degraded and they're somehow continuing to degrade further. And all this is to say is this is why I appreciate Death Stranding 2. Because you know what? I know that you weren't expecting that, right? Coming all the way back around, bringing it back to Death Stranding 2. The whole point I'm trying to get at with Death Stranding 2 is I didn't let anybody's opinions impact my decision to play Death Stranding 1. And I told myself, like, Kojima earned the benefit of the doubt. People are doubting that this is going to be a good game because the gameplay seems to be you're making deliveries. And I said, you know what? Even I'm a little bit surprised by that, but I don't care. I believe in it and I'm giving it a chance. And I did. And I ended up putting like 110 hours in that game, platinuming it, and it became one of my favorite games of the generation. And with Death Stranding 2, you know, the feeling on that was even stronger this time around, where it's like nothing anybody could say would change my decision that I want to play this game and I'm certain I'm going to enjoy it. But there is this kind of higher level of like, but I am curious to see if people get it this time. You know what I mean? Like if it's better received, if finally people may come around to it. And it's good to see that overall that has happened. But the main thing that needs to be kept in mind here while I discuss this is that the Death Stranding 1 and 2 ultimately, I know it may not seem like it because I just called out GameSpot's review, but I'm talking like when I'm not hanging out with you guys and talking on the camera, but just honestly, I'm just sitting here with my own thoughts thinking like, how do I feel about Death Stranding? At the end of the day, man, it's like, yo, I'm going to play the Kojima game. You kidding me? You kidding me? Like what do you think? What do you think you're going to say that's going to make me not play the Kojima game? What do you think you're going to say that's going to make me question if I'm going to enjoy this game? Like, get out of here. What have you done? Who are you? Who are you? I don't know you. You know what I know, though? I know that I played a bunch of Kojima games that were some of the best games I've ever played in my life. And that's what matters. That's the point. That's the point. That's why it's like when all the noise stops, what's there? You know what's there? I played Ghost of Tsushima, and it was a fucking incredible game. I'm going to play the next one. Chances are that's going to be incredible too. I think sometimes people forget because it gets so noisy. I think sometimes people forget that it's just like, this is what it's about, man. Like, it's kind of like what Night of Cypher said, like, use your own experiences to determine. Oh, wait, yeah. And SDO, a member for 14 months, says, we play and enjoy games. The bleed green, you're saying those who bleed green just talk crap about games. I mean, listen, man, I've been coming across a bunch of different stuff about Microsoft recently that I'm just like, I literally can't keep up anymore. I just went to the Gaming Leaks Rumor subreddit 2 hours ago. Well, actually, this is good news. No ZeniMax Online developer has been laid off following the cancellation of Blackbird. Excuse me. So that's actually good news. Surprising news. But like, I just feel like things have gotten so kind of weird anymore with some things in gaming that it's like I'm not entirely like I feel like people are losing the plot a little bit. And that is the plot, SDO. It's nothing overly complicated. It's like, listen, no matter how passionate we want to get about video games, we can't forget what brought us to games in the first place. Because I'll tell you what, man, I can't speak for anybody else out there, but yelling and arguing and fighting and being angry, like having negative feelings, is not what brought me to games. Mr. B, you're saying it's fake news. Jason Schreier debunked it and said most were fired from the ZeniMax MMO. Oh, shit. Damn. The good news couldn't even last for 30 seconds. Jez Gordon is trying to damage control. Oh, you know what? I think I saw that interaction. Yeah. That's some PS therapy shit. Yeah, it is. Damn. It's tagged as misleading now. Oh, hold on. Is it? I didn't even notice that. Let me double check. Oh, yeah, dude, you're right. It's just straight up labeled as false. So, yeah, the source was Jez Corden saying Blackbird was canceled in order to free up resources for more Fallout games. Jason Schreier. Yeah, hold on. So Jason Schreier did respond, and he said Xbox didn't lay off thousands of people so they could move those resources to new projects. They laid off thousands of people to cut their overall fiscal year budget. And when it comes to the other one, yeah, you're right. So no ZeniMax Online developer has been laid off following the cancellation of Blackbird. It's been labeled as misleading. I don't know if I'm using the right flair, but there were discussions this week about how many people were laid off from ZOS following Blackbird's cancellation. We got confirmation for how many were exactly laid off. 0. Based on this, Jez's leak might also be correct. If no one was laid off, could potentially jump to the next Fallout projects. Edit. This has been debunked by Jason Schreier himself below. Sorry if I misled anybody. It wasn't my intention. I just wanted to share any positive news I can find. And yeah, so okay, yeah. So that's unfortunate, man. It's, even when you're trying to find the good news here, it's like, nah, bro. It's as bad as it seems. I do want to tell you guys about this though. Did you see this leak? The ROG Xbox Ally prices have leaked, and boy, oh man, buckle up. Did you guys see this? The Union Twitter account came out and said no one was laid off yet as of yesterday this morning. That was via the WCCF Tech article. You love when I'm getting attacked. I stand my ground. The director of the Elder Scrolls Online and Blackbird is gone. Oh. Yeah, so the leak apparently says that the cheapest version of the Xbox ROG Ally is going to cost 599 euros, which, what is that? Euros to dollars. That's $700. Oh my god, dude. What? That's the cheapest version. And apparently this is a legitimate leak from what I'm seeing. And there will be another version of the Xbox Ally X that's going to be 899 euros. Which is like over $1,000. Like, are they out of their goddamn minds? DOA. I mean, see, here's the important thing to extract from this, though. Putting the reaction aside, I mean, that's expensive ass hardware. But what is this Cypher? You're saying you expected those prices. What does this reveal, though? I think this reveals something that, I mean, I don't know if people are picking up on it, but I've been saying for quite some time that I think Microsoft's approach to hardware going forward after the Series X, after the Series S, starting with the ROG Ally X, and then continuing with the next mainline Xbox console, PC hybrid, whatever it's going to be called, my thought is, yeah, they're no longer trying to subsidize the cost of anything. They're just going to make you pay for it up front. And this is why I said, like, I don't think Microsoft gives a single fuck about sales anymore. Hardware sales. I think that they've completely given up on hardware sales. And what that means is not that they're not going to make hardware. It just means that all that matters now is whenever we sell a piece of hardware, we need to make a profit on it immediately. And, you know, the downside to that is the fact that, yeah, man, gone are the days of getting any kind of good deal on hardware. You know, this handheld is going to be the cheapest version of this handheld is going to be the same price as a PS5 Pro, dude. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, I think people will buy it, but very few people. And I don't think those people should be made to feel bad. It's just that, yeah, like, there's an agreement. There's a handshake going on between that niche consumer or customer or market, I should say, and the corporation. And that is that we'll make it for you, but we got to make money off of it right out of the gate. We need, like, if we only sell 10,000 of these things, we need to make sure we're making a profit on every one sold. And I think Sony took the same approach with the PS5 Pro. I think Sony, they knew that people were going to be sticker shocked with the $700 price point. But there was kind of an agreement where it's like, this is for the enthusiast. And that's okay, because we just want to make sure that we're getting we need to make sure we're making a profit. We're not trying to subsidize the cost of the PS5 Pro, essentially. This is for the enthusiasts. This is for the hardcore. I think that that's all Xbox hardware is going to be going forward, where it's going to be, this is for that person who doesn't want to leave Xbox. And if you're that person that doesn't want to leave Xbox, you're either going to stay on the hardware you're on, which is the Series X or the S, which is fine, or you're going to be willing to pay to upgrade. Because there's not many of those people left. And so I think that ultimately what I'm trying to say here is this leak with the ROG Ally X pricing, I think that this pretty much confirms that we can anticipate the next Xbox console, PC hybrid, again, whatever it's going to be called, will be very expensive. Like, they're not pulling any punches. You know, it's going to be like an $800, $900 box, maybe more. And they don't care if it sells. This is why I told people, like, the next Xbox console is probably going to sell the worst ever. Like, they're probably going to struggle to even get to 10 million sold or 15 million sold, because it's going to be so prohibitively expensive, because the purpose is not to sell 20, 30, 40 million. The purpose is, if we only sell 10 million, we're making a profit. That's all that matters. We're just here to serve those really die-hard loyal Xbox players that don't want to leave. And we just want to make money off them. And that's fine. That's not a bad thing, but it's just, I think the message is clear. I think it's becoming clear. We have Gavin Hillick, a member for 26 months. He says the PS5 Pro is 799 euros, which is about 900 euros, or I guess you meant to say dollars. Don't assume prices are exactly the same in the US. Or you're saying, okay, I think I did read that wrong. Gavin, you're saying it's 799 euros, which is about 900. So basically, if I understand what you're saying, Gavin, you're saying that just because the conversion would be $700 for the cheapest model doesn't mean it's going to come in at that price. It may actually be less. That's true. We don't have confirmation of how much it's going to be in US dollars, but if it comes in lower, I would be a little bit surprised by that, only because, Gavin, only because Microsoft made it clear prior to the announcement of this device, yeah, we're gonna up the price of the Series S to $400 US dollars. Where I'm like, the fuck? Like who would pay $400 for that thing? Microsoft doesn't care. They're just like, we're not selling this thing at a loss. And that's supposed to be their more affordable console, dude. So I like, you could be right, Gavin. You could be right. They could end up maybe having it try to be a more affordable price since the US is their main market, but I just feel like looking at their recent price increases, that tells me probably not. Ray with a $2 super chat says that is UK prices, not US. UK does not have tariffs. Hmm. You'll be shocked if that handheld even sells 5 million. Oh, dude, the Xbox ROG Ally X will probably sell 2-3 million at most. And I think that's pushing it. If they're as expensive as they're seemingly going to be, I think that's pushing it. They're going to be super niche. And I think that's fine. I think Xbox is fine with that, but maybe you think it'll sell maybe 500K. I mean, I think it's going to be a very low volume device. It's Asus hardware first and foremost. That's true. But isn't there a new 10% tariff starting on August 1st? I'm not sure. I haven't been keeping up, man. All I know is that I'm starting to see the prices of shit going up a little bit. I told you, like, the coffee that I've been buying, it went up $8. I don't know how. I don't know why. I'm like, this is crazy. I still got to pick up that mushroom coffee that New Soul 9 was recommending. That'll probably have went up in price too. But yeah, I don't understand it. I'm like, why did this go up that much, dude? That's wild. It has to be the biggest jump I've seen on anything so far. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking, something that was $12 going up to like 20, it's like, the fuck happened? You think it's because of what happened with Brazil? I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not in control of any of it, It's hard for me to pay too much attention knowing that, like, well, what can you do about it? Jack squat. That's what I can do. Nothing. I can do nothing about it. That's what I can do. Nothing. All right. Where are we at? How long have we been streaming for? All right, so we've been streaming for, okay, we're close to the 3 hour mark, so we'll hang out for a little bit longer, guys. Maybe we'll wrap it up in about 15 or so minutes. So in that time, what should we discuss? I've been seeing people bringing up the whole Spider-Man Xbox thing, and I've been seeing people bringing this up, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, where's this cope coming from, man? Oh, here we go. Okay. I just found it. There's an article from Push Square. Helldivers 2 Xbox announcement prompts avalanche of Spider-Man port begging. If you have an active interest in PS5 and haven't abandoned X or Twitter yet, then you'll have no doubt have found yourself inundated with an avalanche of Marvel Spider-Man port begging this week. In the aftermath of Helldivers 2 announcement for Xbox Series X and S, the social media platform is absolutely awash with posts about Insomniac Games' superhero outing getting ported to Microsoft's machine. It's unclear exactly where the speculation started, although an innocuous post from Insomniac appears to have sparked the surge. In it, the studio sent out an image of Peter Parker along with the comment, "Hey, how are you?" But this has prompted an absolute snowball of comments from Xbox fans, with many either asking for a port of the game or assuming the post is teasing some kind of incoming announcement. "Looks good wrapped in green," one fan wrote with a mock-up of the game using Xbox branding. "So Spider-Man 2018 is coming to Xbox," another mused. Let me see. All right, let me click on the post. Let's go check. Oh, you dude, look at this. Look at this. Hold on, bro. I got to bring this up for you guys. They weren't kidding. Hold on, let me bump this up a little bit. Look at this. Top comment. "Looks good wrapped in green." When? Is this port begging? Am I witnessing port begging? Hmm. You know what's so funny? I gotta say this. Do you know what the funniest thing about this comment is? Is that they're showing Xbox box art for Spider-Man. Bro, Xbox doesn't do physical games anymore. Like that to me is the funniest thing about this post, is that what you're showing literally couldn't exist. If Sony were to release Spider-Man on Xbox, they ain't doing no physical version. Xbox ain't doing no physical version. Damn, bro. Second top comment. "So Spider-Man 2018 coming to Xbox." Look at this. Oh my God, they want it so bad. They want it so bad. When can I add it to the list? Wait, though. Wait. I thought Spider-Man was just another over-the-shoulder cinematic movie game from Sony, though. Hold on. What happened? You guys are saying you actually want this game? Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I mean, this level of desperation, though, like, it's like I said, like, dude, if you want it this badly, just go fuck it. Like, dude, just go play it on Steam. Like, you guys can, like, can't you access it on Steam already through your ROG or whatever, bro? So this is, it's funny though, because like this is the post that started it. It's just Insomniac saying, "Hey, how are you?" And the top comments are Xbots just on their hands and knees begging. Can't blame them. It's a great game. I mean, I'll be honest, bro. Like, to me, I think people gotta know that, like, surely Sony's going to wait and see how Helldivers does first. Like, I think these guys are getting a little over their skis begging for Spider-Man. I say this because it's like, dude, for all you know, Helldivers 2 won't sell shit on Xbox. Like, I think, all right, I'm going to be a little bit harsh towards Xbox players right now, but I just have to be honest. I think a certain portion of the hardcore, like I guess we could call them the Xbox fanboys, I think that they have forgotten, or if they haven't forgotten, I think that they are just painfully unaware of like, dude, the biggest reason the Xbox uh, console ecosystem collapsed, like it wasn't just the console struggling to sell. It's that people stopped buying games on the Xbox store, dude. Microsoft couldn't even sell their own games. They were doing abysmal numbers. And I think people need to keep this in mind that it's like, dude, I understand the prospect of more sales, but more sales come from actually selling games. Like, I have a friend, and Isley, thank you so much for dropping a single membership gift, which brings us up to 77 members on the day, which is incredible to see. Thank you so much for that. I have you poured one out for the X, bro. Dude, I have a friend who plays their games exclusively through Game Pass. And all they've been saying is, I can't wait for it to come to Game Pass. It's going to be great when it comes to Game Pass. And I've tried telling them like over and over, like, dude, it's the studio confirmed it's not going to Game Pass. Like, you're going to have to buy it. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, I ain't doing that. I know it's anecdotal. It's just one person I talk to, but that's what that's a real conversation, dude. No. Gaming Survivor, no. No, he just doesn't buy games. And he's like, I'm not buying games anymore, man. And he just so happens to be playing on Xbox. I can't make this shit up. I'm just saying that's a real thing. And like, yeah, I don't know what. I asked him about that GTA 6 and he seems unsure. I'm like, oh man. Like, all right, man, whatever you say. I think I understand why people want to see. They want to see the next domino fall for Sony, where we went from, they'll never go they'll never go day and date to PC. Live service games come along, they go day and date to PC. Well, they'll never go to Xbox. Helldivers comes along, Helldivers goes to Xbox. I understand where this comes from. This isn't shocking to see. It's not surprising to see people assuming that this is the next thing. But I do think people need to calm down and realize that Sony ain't doing shit like this until they know they can get something. You think Sony's going to risk porting Spider-Man to Xbox if it can't even sell at least like 2 million copies? Come on, bro. Hey, we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll eat my words. I'll have egg on my face. And like maybe like 3 months from now, they're like, Spider-Man's coming to Xbox, Game of the Year edition. Oh, Game of the Year edition? Yeah, sorry, that's not allowed to release on Xbox. You kidding me? You can't. That doesn't compute. I don't know, man. It's funny to see. I have to admit, it's funny to see how, like, you see people. You saw people when Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves were announced. You saw people doing mock-ups like you see with Spider-Man here, but Gears of War for PS5. I can go to Amazon right now and bring up a physical PS5 copy of Gears of War for PS5, dude. And people were claiming that we were port begging and shitting all over us at that time. And it's like, where are the videos? Where are the videos? Where are the videos of the port begging for Spider-Man? Where's all the salt content or whatever? Right? I mean, I'm genuine. I'll be honest. I'm genuinely asking. I haven't been looking. Is it out there? I'm seriously asking. I actually don't know. I'm assuming it's not, at least not to a significant degree. But here you go, man. Here you go. Spider-Man, and all because of this. What are you doing, Sony? What are you doing, Insomniac? You teasing? You teasing? Nah, go ahead. Let them have Spider-Man 2018. They need something. They need something, dude. They need something from they need something from a high end developer. They even put hashtag PS5. It'd be, dude. Next post from Insomniac, hashtag not Xbox. Give them Lego Horizon. There you go. Dude, you can't make this shit up. How is that not on Xbox? Like, in all seriousness, how are we living in a world where we're talking about the prospect of Spider-Man coming to Xbox, but that didn't go to Xbox? Give them Knack. There you go. Give them Knack 1 and 2. Deluxe dual pack or some shit. Put Mark Cerny on the cover next to Knack. Johnny Gaming, a member for 10 months, says, honestly, this is Sony's fault for releasing Helldivers 2. Now they're going to be port begging, and PlayStation's going to be like, here, dang, with another game. Well, we do have to understand, like Johnny Gaming, I get where you're coming from, and yeah, Sony is asking for this, but we do have to understand that port begging does not translate to sales, right? It's easy to, say I would buy this game if you're just some random player on Xbox, on Twitter, engaged in these conversations. You're one person. When you look at, so I just saw recently, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I saw reports saying that Forza Horizon 5 sold 2 million copies in 30 days on PS5. Microsoft probably almost fell out of their chair when they saw that. At full price, mind you. That was a full price game. 5 years old or 4 years old or something. Microsoft found more success with that game on PS5. Microsoft found more success on PS5 with a 4-year-old game of theirs than they have probably found with any of their own games in the last 3 years. On their own platform, that is. Right? Like, they found more success with their own game on the competitor's platform than they probably did with their own game on their own platform. It's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be the person. I'm not trying to be the person that's like, you're not getting PlayStation games. Sony would never. I don't know what the fuck Sony's going to do. But you know what I do know about Sony? You know what I do know about Sony? And it's the same thing I know about Microsoft. And it's the same thing I know about Nintendo. And it's the same thing I know about every other video game publisher in existence. They like their sales. They sure like their sales. And they need their sales. And they want those sales. And I'll tell you what, man. If Helldivers 2 does spectacular on Xbox, Sony might consider bringing Spider-Man. They figure, fuck it, dude. If we could sell millions of copies, and I mean, I think it's an exaggeration, but if we sell 3 million copies of Helldivers 2 on Xbox, shit, man, maybe we could get a couple million for Spider-Man. But it's just like, people need to understand that Sony's not doing this for the fuck of it. They're doing it for sales. And we saw, yeah, and it started like that on PC as well. And I'll tell you right now, man, Sony, I don't think Xbox players are going to have to really port beg for much longer. I'll be honest. I don't think they're going to have to port beg for much longer because they're going to have a PC soon. They're going to have a PC soon, and therefore they will have access to most of Sony's games. Not all of them, but most of them. And This is why I have to be honest with you guys. The number one thing that makes me genuinely question Sony's decision to port Helldivers 2 to Xbox is simply this. But it was like, it was going to end up there anyway. Maybe it doesn't make me question it, but it makes me, there's a logical answer, I guess you could say, where it's like, if the next Xbox is going to have Steam, they confirm that, multiple storefronts. That would mean that if you are a person who buys like an $800 Xbox Prime console in 2027 or some shit, you can buy Helldivers and play that shit. I really wonder if Sony was just like, fuck it. Like, this game's relevant now. We need sales now. We need to strike while the iron's hot. Why wait till 2027? Let's just do it now. And here's an even better thought. Let's get 100% of it right now. So could that logic be applied to their single player games? Maybe. But the argument is that if the next Xbox console ships with Steam, the Xbox store is cooked. You get what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going to be buying Xbox games through the Xbox storefront on the next Xbox if Steam exists on that box. Everybody will go to Steam. Just because it's objectively better. It makes more sense to do that. Like why would you not do that? You know, just like right now, if Steam was available on the PlayStation console, more than half of Sony's users would immediately switch to using Steam. Unless Sony did something drastic to, you know, really make the PlayStation Store seem like significantly better. You know what I mean? Like across the board. So I guess I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's a clock ticking. That's the best way I could put it. I feel like there's a clock ticking right now, and I think that clock that's ticking down is the timer, is the life expectancy of the Xbox storefront. I think that's hanging in the balance right now, and I think that the most amount of time was stripped off of that clock, or, you know, it was the timer was dramatically reduced by Microsoft themselves when they confirmed in the Sarah Bond video that we're going to have multiple storefronts, aka we're going to have Steam. And I think that just whittled away so much time instantaneously from the Xbox storefront, because you're going to see developers abandon that storefront. They're already beginning to do it slowly, but it's going to snowball. Once it becomes clear that Microsoft cares more about the PlayStation storefront and they care more about Steam, because these are places where their games actually sell, you know? Okay, hold on. Fucking tell you what, man. Like, fucking solicitors, bro. Like, I have a fucking no soliciting sign, and you're just gonna stand out there. You're just gonna stand out there, dude. Oh, I'm staring out my window, bro, like a fucking lunatic. I'm like, I've lost my shit on solicitors before, man. I don't need that right now. I'm not in any sort of frame of mind to be dealing with fucking solicitors when I have a goddamn, like, there's two of them just standing there. And like my Mrs. MEG just comes in, is like, there's just like two men standing outside our door and they're not leaving. And I'm like, oh, we're about to have a situation. I don't get it. It's a test. So I'm just being patient. And I'm like, I asked her, I was like, how long have they been standing out there? She's like, a couple minutes, just straight up. And that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't trust people. I'm like, I'm going to have to break out the nunchucks. I'm about to go answer the door with a pair of nunchucks. Like, what's up? No, I don't even want to answer the door. People are crazy. People are crazy, man. I don't trust anybody. But I was just looking out the window and I'm like, all right, I'm going to give it 30 more seconds. And if they don't leave, I'm going to open my window and say, get the fuck off my lawn before I call the cops. But, you know, open the door naked, covered in chocolate syrup. I mean, I think that would definitely make them regret their decision. What bothers me the most is I have a sign that says no soliciting. So that makes me on alert because you could get in a fuck ton of trouble. Like, solicitors are specifically taught you cannot do that. You cannot. Soliciting is like trying to sell shit door to door. Like, you can't do that. It's like illegal. You can't just knock on people's doors and stand there when there's a sign that says you're not allowed to do that on their property. So I immediately get into, like, you know, primal mode where I'm like, they ain't leaving. We're going to have a problem. I don't trust nobody, man. I don't trust nobody. It's even getting crazy up in here. I swear, dude, like, I'm just going to open up the door with the shotgun. Like, can I help you? Like, I want to be the crazy. You know? I am the crazy. They're not trying to sell. They're trying to get you to invest. You know what? Come to think of it, the one dude I saw standing out there, it almost looked like he had a, I couldn't get a good angle, but it almost looked like he had a shirt where it was an Xbox case with Spider-Man on it on the front of his shirt. And I'm like, you know what? No, I don't know. I don't like that shit. Like, that's actually something that really gets under my skin. Where it's like, please leave me alone. Like, I don't want to be rude, and I don't want to be an asshole. But for the love of God, go away, and don't ever knock on my door again, for any reason whatsoever. You understand? I'm trying to stream. Literally my job, but I work for a construction company, so I let people know about construction that is happening regardless. Well, that's different, you know? I feel like that's different. If I'm understanding correctly, you're like letting people know, like, there's some shit going on over here. Just gotta let you know. Just gotta inform you. Say, okay. Give us an example of when you had to talk to them, dude. The craziest one, I'm trying to remember. There was this one that occurred that I was certain this is not a solicitor. And I don't know if I could have potentially been in danger or my family was in danger, but I like, my instincts just, like, I don't know. The adrenaline just went from like 0 to 100, where this dude in a black, God, what? I don't know, it was like a Charger or something. It was like some kind of muscle car, I think, if I remember correctly. He just pulled up in front of my house, tinted windows, gets out, and I'm in my backyard. And I think Mrs. MEG and my son, they were like out front, and I was doing something in the backyard. And she was like yelling for me to come out. Or no. Okay, I'm misremembering. No, they were getting ready to come outside. I was already in the backyard. And as I was walking around the house to go to the front yard, she was coming out of the front door at the same exact time, and this dude was just standing there, and he was wearing a tank top, and he looked not professional in the least. And I immediately just like, I was like, can I help you? And I couldn't help, like, I just couldn't help it. I just suddenly have this, like, I just turned into a dick where I'm like, I don't know you. Right now, to me, you're a threat. You're standing on my front yard. I'm looking, dude, I don't know. I was just giving that energy because, like, I saw the vehicle. I'm like, I'm getting a vibe immediately. And, you know, my wife and my son are walking out the front door at the same time. So I'm just in, like, protective mode. And the dude was just kind of weird. And he was like, oh, I just wanted to take a, yeah, I couldn't help it. I'm just in like fight or flight because I live like next to a road and shit, and there's always bullshit going on. Like, dude, just 2 weeks ago, literally right on my front yard, or like the island, right before where my fence is in the front yard, cops were like chasing down this dude on a bicycle and like tackled him and shit and like arrested him on the spot. There was like 6 cops out there, and I'm just like, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't need to know. You know, if this is something serious that I got to know about, I'm sure the cop will knock on my door and let me know. I'm not going to check. But it's just there's shit that goes out, you know, there's shit that goes down around here sometimes. And I'm always on like alert mode. I don't live in like the ghetto or anything like that, but I don't know. It's just shit goes down sometimes. But anyway, getting back to the story with this guy, he just was giving me the weirdest vibe where I'm like, can I help you? And he's like, yeah, man. I just, you know, I want to talk to you. I forget. I swear to God, I think he said solar panels or something, but it wasn't registered. I'm like, and I remember like, I just looked at him like, why are you on my lawn? And I think I immediately made him feel a certain way. And I'm like, I'm going to have to ask you to just leave my property right now. And he got like real like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't know it was like that. And then he just like got in his car and he left. And I'm like looking around like, what the fuck is going on? Who the fuck was that? And it's like, dude, even if you're trying to sell me solar panels, why are you rolling up on me like that? Like, I'm like damn near being like, is this about to be a drive-by? What is going on? Like, I don't mean to be, I feel bad if it's like this dude was actually totally cool and chill, but I didn't get that vibe and I can't help it. It's just like, don't stand on my yard. Don't stand on my lawn like that, you know? And like, I'm feeling vulnerable right now. I don't know. I just don't trust people. That's why I keep a firearm within reach. I'm not quite at that level yet. I can feel myself getting closer to it. I don't want to have to live like that, but I do start to feel like, yeah, you know, you never know. You never know when the shit's going to hit the fan. And when it does, you know, you could go a whole, you know, a lifetime without experiencing anything like that. But if you don't, that one day where it happens, that's the one day you're going to wish, man, I was more prepared. That's the only day that matters. You know what I mean? That's the only day that's going to matter. But I don't know. I struggle with that notion because I don't want to live in a world like that. I want to believe that it's better than that. Just a little bit. I try not to assume the worst in people, but I can't help that. Like, I've seen too many people get fucked over by being too naive, too trusting, and giving people in general the benefit of the doubt. And it can be a dangerous thing, unfortunately, which is sad. That's what makes me sad. Where it's like, why does it got to be like that? Have I ever been scammed? So I've never been like blatantly, as far as I'm aware, I don't think I've been blatantly scammed. But the closest I ever got was, I feel like when you're a teenager or a young adult, you have those moments where like you get like an email or you get like a phone call or a voicemail. I think I remember I got this voicemail one time. I was like 18 or something, and it was like I thought it was real. And it was something about like the IRS, like it was telling me it was something with taxes and the IRS. And I got really fucking scared because I'm like, oh no. Because I think I was just like, I was working a job at the time or whatever. And I was like, I got to call. Apparently I got to call and figure out just to like after a little bit realizing like this is total bullshit. Like you are being scammed, bro. Like do not. And ever since that day, that's why I'm like, you know what? If the IRS needs me, they know where I am. Like I'm going to do my taxes, obviously, but it's just like I'm not trusting anything anymore. Yeah, dude, but that was my first and only experience where I almost fell for it the first time. And when I learned that, like, dude, this is you're in dangerous territory right now. And I had I felt so stupid. I was like, oh my God. Because it felt real at the time. I was like, this feels real. I'm still a kid, basically. Like, I'm worried about my fucking taxes at 18. What's going to happen? Because when they leave those voicemails, they make it seem really scary. Like we're coming to get you. We're going to get you. And I'm like, what? What is this bullshit? I guess this is part of being an adult. They would send an official notice. Yeah. I got scammed in New York City. Hey, do you want a free CD? They signed it, and I had to pay like $40. Moonshot with a $2 direct donation says, when someone says they don't notice anything on their Pro, you should be asking what TV they have. That's what matters the most when it comes to the Pro. So I've heard. Yeah, people have been telling me that. You're not wrong about that, Josh. Nick is like, are you home alone right now, MBG? Guy knocked on my door, clearly looked like someone scouting homes to break into later, but he didn't expect me to open and look down at him. I saw the fear in his eyes, and then he scrambled away. Dude, I've seen that shit too. I'm like a dog sometimes, man. Like, you know how dogs get? Like, anybody gets anywhere near your property and dogs start to go crazy. I'm not saying I'm barking like a dog. That's what I'm doing at my window. No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know, when I see people, I'm just like giving them a side eye. I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't matter who they are. I mean, it's not even. Yeah, I don't know. I chase the mailman every day. It's pretty bad. There's some things about me you guys just don't know yet. You'll find out eventually. The signs were there, but yeah, I don't know. I know what it's like. I do know what it's like though, where my whole life I've always had that kind of look about me, where, and also because of the way I would dress as well, where I think growing up and just for many years of my life, I did kind of look like that person where it's like, you look like a troublemaker. Like, you look like somebody we should worry about. Not like in some tough guy kind of way. I just mean like, I just had that kind of aura of like, should we be worried about you? Like, are you a troublemaker? And to be fair, like I've had my moments in life where I gotten into some trouble. I've been a troublemaker from time to time, but I've never been like that type of person. Like, I don't know how you would describe it. I guess this is the type of person that just is like always involving themselves in just bad things constantly. Like they just always find themselves in like bad places around bad people in bad positions. I've never really gravitated towards that. But yeah, I skateboarded growing up in my teen years, and like I I think I was a little bit misunderstood where I think it looked like I was a hooligan. But in reality, I'm just like, I just want to find a really solid spot. I think a lot of skaters, actually come to think of it, I think a lot of that skate culture, it got a bad rep. I think there were like bad people, but I think most skaters just wanted good spots to skate, man. And it's just the nature of the beast where it's like, we're not trying to destroy property. Like that's not our intent. It's just, man, look at this sick ledge, Like this is a perfect spot. And now that I'm older and I don't skate anymore, I understand why like adults would get so pissed off. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, look at yourself. Like you're trying to grind a fucking rail here, bro. A handrail that people use to walk down steps. What are you doing? I get it. But at the same time, I also understand the skater side where it's like, you just don't, you see things differently when you're skating. You don't see a handrail as like, oh yeah, that's what people use to, like I remember when I was skateboarding, there was this person's house that I would always skate outside of, and I never really cared. Like I never thought to myself how annoying that actually might be. Where it's like you probably don't want to see like these kids outside, like literally on the curb, grinding your curb all day, because they don't know me. And I kind of get it now looking back at it, where it's like I was probably ruining that dude's curb, and also it was probably just fucking annoying. It's like the whole day I'm just out there, all you hear is skateboards slamming the ground and shit. And I would lose my mind on this guy because I'm like, leave me the fuck alone, bro. Like I'm just trying to grind this curb. I'm 31 now. I'll be 32 in September. And now that I'm older, not super old, I'm not like, I guess sometimes I have old man energy, but it's like looking back at that, like, yeah, I would be annoyed too. Now, do I think that guy was too harsh towards me and my friend? He was too harsh because he thought we were bad people. I'm like, we're not bad people. We're just, yeah, like we're listen, man, we could be doing drugs and stuff. We could be doing much worse. We're just trying to find some good skate spots to do some tricks, listen to our music. But I get it. It's like, but it's kind of annoying. Can you do it somewhere else? I get it. But that guy was a prick, truthfully. Like he was a prick. So fuck that guy. And it actually got so serious that I think we like went to court one time. It was real serious. Like he had a real problem with us. He had a real fucking problem with me. And he made us pay dearly. And, I think looking back on it, my birthday's September 30th. Looking back on it, I think this is why I have such a negative view of the world. I think that dude helped contribute to my negative view of the world, where like I just wanted to be happy as like a 12, 13-year-old skater, not looking for trouble, just I want to do a 5-0 grind, bro, on this little, and when I say curb, I'm talking literally like a curb that's like what, 10 inches high, and this dude, and he lived across a school as well, and so we would go in the schoolyard and we wouldn't do anything. Totally across the street in the schoolyard. Just, it was all flat top, just doing tricks and shit. And he would constantly call the cops on us. And looking back on it, it's like, yeah, that guy was a fucking asshole. And he got so serious about it that he like took us to court and shit. And I got like community service. And I was so pissed. I'm like, how can this happen? Like all I wanted to do was just skate. And yeah, like I don't know. I think I forgot like how serious the situation got. Where we kind of went to war with this dude, or he went to war with us. He was a grumpy old man. Yeah, he was a grumpy old prick. That's what he was. And it's just funny thinking like I was young. I was like 12 or 13. So these are the things that are kind of slowly forming a portion of my worldview. He was wearing an Xbox shirt, yeah. But your dad was always super nice to skaters. He always made rails and stuff for them. Cool. See, that's awesome. Dude, this has basically turned into a members lounge. I should have ended it and probably made a members lounge, but if you guys were wondering what some of the conversations in the members lounge were like, this is what it's like. But we talk about other stuff too. But there was this other quick story I'll tell you because I'm going on like a half hour longer than I had planned. But there was this abandoned skating rink in my town. It wasn't an ice skating rink. It was actually just like it was a hockey skating rink, and it was abandoned, and it was blacktop, but it had, the enclosure, and it was totally abandoned. And I remember me and like a relatively large group of my friends, like we had like the skater group at the time. We're like maybe 14 years old at the time, 13, 14. And we saw this and we're like, this is the perfect spot, man. And so what we did was we actually all kind of got together and started building shit. And we were trying to make like a little makeshift skate park. And it actually turned out damn good. We put like a lot of work into it, a lot of effort. And this place was kind of, it wasn't like hidden, but it wasn't like right off the side of the road. It was a little bit, there's like a little bit of a wooded area, and it was like right behind it. And again, it was abandoned. I mean, I'm sure like somebody owned the property, but I don't know who owned it. I don't know, maybe it was just the towns or whatever, but it wasn't being used for anything. And so we were always getting in trouble around the town for skating in different places. So we're like, all right, well, let's just build this little place for ourselves. And it was great, man. It needed some more work, but it was coming together really well. And we were skating it every day. We'd go there and hang out. And I remember one day we went there and everything was just gone. It was just gone. And there was a cop waiting for us. And he was just like, yeah, you're not allowed to do this. And dude, looking back on it, the man got me down big time. The man brought me down. And I remember I was so pissed because I'm like, fuck all y'all, man. Like, are you kidding me? Like, we can't go skate over here. We can't go skate over there. We can't grind that ledge. We can't skate in the schoolyard. We can't go anywhere. We can't skate anywhere, but we just want to skate. And we find a spot that's not being used by anybody. And we're not being destructive. We're being the opposite. We're like building shit to use, to stay away from everything else. And they're still like, yeah, no. Sad times, man. Sad times. But it's interesting to think how, I was so deeply into skate culture, and I was obsessed with skateboarding. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm going to be a professional skater one day. That was never going to happen. I started getting injured way too much. And I got injured enough times, bad enough, that I'm like, you know what? Maybe I won't pursue this in the way that I thought I would. But still always have a little passion for it. I always loved just riding around. My favorite thing to do when skating wasn't even the tricks. It was just riding. Always amazing. So. That's the most excitement that adult had in his entire life. Had nothing better to do than bother a bunch of kids skating. You know what the saddest part about it is too, Gaming Survivor, is like, you would think the first guy that I was talking about that like went to war with me, you would think it was like me and like 10 other kids. It was me and one other friend. It was just two like 12, 13-year-old kids just listening to their music, skating. That's it. That's all we were doing. And yet looking back on it, it's like, man, you got to be like next level bitter old man to like really be like, I'm going to go to war with these kids because fuck them. My dreams are crushed. Now I'm going to crush theirs. Like, damn. True story, Pyramid. True story. Then Mrs. MBG came along and MBG was like, what's skateboarding? Well, actually, I transitioned to drumming after that, which was also incredibly annoying for everybody around me. Everything I gravitated towards just, again, like, I kind of get it. It was a bit much. It's a shame that electric drum kits were not more, like, established at that time. But yeah. Hashtag Mrs. MBG. You got to be real weird to take active steps to mess with a kid's life. Yeah. I mean, honestly, dude, like looking back on it, yeah, like that, it almost feels like a fever dream looking back on it. Cause it did get to that point, man, where like, I think I kind of erased it from my mind. I think I was just scared. Like at that, like I got to a point where I was just like, bro, I got to show up to court now. What's going on? Like, I was actually confused. Like, I don't understand. I just wanted to, unless I could be misremembering. I have to, we have to talk to my mother about it because she had to deal with that shit too, and I can't quite remember if I'm fairly certain that that was the reason, unless there was something else that I'm forgetting. Because there, listen, I will say this. I will say this. I don't want to make it sound like I'm totally innocent. At that time, I didn't understand. How do I word this without making myself sound like I was some kind of horrible person? Like when I was with some friends having fun, we would sometimes forget, at least I would forget that like, dude, um, you could get in trouble for this. Like you could get hurt from this, but you could also get in trouble. Like basically borderline doing something illegal, but literally in ignorance, where it's like not realizing like you can't do that. And I'm not talking about like skating curbs or anything. Maybe that'll be another members on story. But when it comes to skating at the school and grinding the curbs and shit, that was totally innocent. Like we're not doing anything. But there was just some shit that I remember there was this one time, bro. I'll tell you this one other story. This wasn't bad, but this was funny. This was like a moment out of a movie or some shit where there was, so the town that I lived in, there was another town right next to it that you could easily skate to. It was like less than a mile away. And this was in the middle of the summer, so nobody was in school. And I remember it was like me and I shit you not, like 15 other people or more. It may have been like 20 people. I mean, it was a whole gang of like and it was kind of cool in a way because it was like, man, everybody's coming together to skate. But we all met up at this school to skate. And it was like 15 kids like around the perimeter of the school skating. You had kids out front trying to skate the rail. You had kids in the back. It was something weird going on outside. I was an emo anxiety teenager. I was something. I had hair. But it was like so cool. I remember thinking to myself, like this is it. Like this is peak skating. Like this is peak street skating where it's like, this is the shit you would see in videos or like, playing Tony Hawk. Like this is what I imagine where it's just like everybody skating together. And then like 2 cop cars rolled up with their sirens and everybody it was the craziest shit. People were running for their lives, man. People were like hopping over the fences. And I remember I did too. Me and my friend were like, we need to get the fuck out of here. And we booked it. And I remember we just ran into the back streets and we just kept running. And we're just like, just go left, go closer to our town. Like just run in that direction. And it was like, it was kind of cool. It felt kind of cool. Yeah. It was like good times. Like, man, breaking the law. It was like, I don't think we were doing anything actually illegal though. But I like, again, as an adult looking back at it, I could understand where it's like, bro, we got a whole gang. We got like 20 teenagers skating in one spot at a school. Like, this is a problem. Disperse, Damn pigs. Used to have a ramp in your backyard. Yeah, dude, I always loved going to skate parks. It was rare. But the problem with the skate parks is I was never skilled enough, man. Like, I would see the really good skaters that were like shredding, man. And I'm like, oh, it looks so awesome. But I'm certain I'll die if I try to do that. And I did have this level of fear where it's like, And it probably was good that I did, because I probably would have been the person that broke my neck. Um, but I would see the shit they're doing. I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. And I just like told myself, like, if eventually you'll get there. You never got there, but it's like, it was still fun, you know? Like, one of the things I remember really getting fucked up with was trying to learn to drop in. Yo, I mean, you can't play around. I gotta tell you, if you're ever skateboarding and you're trying to learn to drop in, you can't underestimate how fucked up you can get. I mean, you'll snap something. You'll snap your leg, snap your arms. But you're shocked no one cares about the devs being replaced by AI. Chris, I know what you're talking about, and maybe I'll talk about that in tomorrow's stream. I just totally have went off the rails here. Just talking rant. I don't know why I'm talking about skateboarding so much. I don't know. Good times though. But yeah, I saw that. I saw that apparently it's been confirmed that devs whose job it was to build the AI ended up getting replaced by the AI that they helped build, which is like, okay. Being a skater was fun. The 2000s were something else. Yeah, what was interesting is I didn't realize, and I guess nobody actually does realize, I didn't think that was like a phase. I didn't think it was like a cultural phase. I thought like this is how it'll always be. Like skateboarding will always be the thing. And to be fair, I think skateboarding is still prevalent, but not it's like it had its heyday, I think, in the 90s and in the early 2000s. And then from that point forward, it seems like it kind of struggled to have a place. And I think the culture still exists, but I think it's died down a lot. I don't know if it'll ever make a comeback. Dude, you know what? Come to think of it, I have some of my best memories skating. Like, the last time I tried to skate, was my hair curly? It was for a while, actually, yeah. One time, yeah, exactly. I had like a fro. It's like, is that hard to believe? But I'll tell you, this will be the last thing I'll talk about, because at this point I should just save this stuff for the members on, just as a good members on content. But getting a freebie here, I guess. There's a skate movie directed by Jonah Hill with Sonny Suljic. Oh yeah, that's actually totally relevant to the conversation. You're absolutely correct. The actor who plays Atreus, Sonny Suljic, I think he's a huge skater, dude. Like, that's what he does. That's his passion. That's his life. And that's so cool. Like, I know exactly what that's like. So it come to think of it, this is actually, it's all relevant. It's all relevant. I mean, I don't know if he's still into it. I'm assuming he is. He's practically an adult now. But yeah, I remember watching, I think, the documentary. I don't know if it was a documentary. I saw some video with him in it where it was showing him skating and he was talking about it. I'm like, that's really cool. It's good shit. But I will tell you this last story. It's not a crazy one. It's actually just it's kind of a bittersweet memory. Yeah, Corey Barlog's next game is a skate game. Boy, stop skating. So the last time I tried to seriously skateboard was actually not that long ago. It feels long ago at this point, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it was, let me see. I think it was about 6 or so years ago. I think, give or take, 6 years ago. So back in like 2018, 2019, 6 or 7 years ago, around there. And I remember that, me and my friend, we were like, maybe we should just buy a board again. And we should just buy boards again. And we did. And I was like, man, I hadn't skateboarded in years. But there's this one specific memory that stands out during this time where it was me, my two good friends, and my cousin. And I don't want to like give locations away, but basically I went to another state um, close by the state over. And we found this was like the craziest thing I had seen. And like looking back on it, it's another one of these things. It's like this feels like a fever dream, but it was real. And we were just randomly like looking for skate parks because the three of us had skateboards and one of my friends had a BMX bike, and we didn't know what we were doing. We're like, we suck at this, but we felt kind of like aged out, we I think I'm like 24, 25 at the time. And same age as my buddies, and we haven't done anything like this in years. So we're like, let's just try to find anywhere where we can like skate and just mess around. And we found this place, I think it was on like Google Maps or whatever. And it said it was like, here's where the skate park is. I was like, oh, that's okay, let's go there. It's not that far away. We drove to it and it brought us to a police station. And I'm like, well, this doesn't seem to make any fucking sense. I'm like, what is going on? Why are we at a police station? And then we like went around the police station, and behind it there was this. I was like, this is crazy. Like, why? I was actually jealous because I'm like, this is what I needed. Like, this is what I needed growing up. And it was this. It wasn't big. It had to have been like this. If you know, like a size of a normal dog park is like half that size. So it was like fenced in. It was small, and it had like 1/4 pipe ramp, one rail, one box. And it was like this little micro skate park or like little skate area that I guess the cops were wise enough, smart enough. I don't know if it was the cops, but the town. I mean, it's not like the cops literally built it. The town realized that like this is the smartest way to handle this. Like, let's make a little spot for people who want to skate to do it, so they don't have an excuse to go out there and ruin shit. But the craziest thing about this spot is it felt like nobody knew about it, and it was eerie in a way because like even though it was behind a police station, I never really saw any cops. It was really weird. Like looking back at it, it feels like a fever dream looking back at it because it was like isolated. There was just this big green field, this little tiny micro skate park. And just, yeah, it was like some Silent Hill shit. And there's just like this police station next to it. And I never saw any cops. Like there were like vehicles there, but I never saw anybody. Never saw anybody in the fields. And there was like nobody around. And it was so fucking cool. And I'm like, we're just skating the spot. And I'm like waiting for other people to show up. Nobody shows up. Hours and hours and hours and hours and hours go by. We even leave to go get like food and then we come back. Nobody's there. And it became like a little, I don't know, like our little spot that we went to. It was, again, out of my state, so it wasn't like I could go there frequently, but anytime we got together or we met up, like that's where we went. And it was really cool looking back on it. Like it was like one of those moments where it's like, this is going to be a really cool memory that you don't know you're making. And, you're in the moment, and like here I am like 6-7 years later, and it feels like Jesus. Like that feels like a lifetime ago. But that was one of the cooler moments, and it was a really great little spot to skate, man. And I will say though, if you're wondering, well, why'd you stop? What happened? Why'd you stop skating? You got back into it. Let's just say I twisted something. I tried to do a little move. I tried to do a little trick that I clear. It's like, dude, you are not that flexible anymore. And I learned the hard way that I wasn't that flexible anymore. And I yeah, so I twisted something real bad, and something got real fucked up for a while. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm done skating. I think I already felt like I was pushing the envelope. I felt like I was really out of form, rusty. Even though I'm still young, like I'm past my prime in skating years, technically. I haven't kept up with it. And, it's just it's that skater mentality, man, where like once you get back on it, you want to keep pushing, and like you want to, all right, I'm ready for the next trick. I think I could do this now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna lay down the skateboard and I think I'm gonna make a PlayStation podcast. But yeah, it was, I was pretty upset after. I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty upset. Um, yeah, well, I know I wasn't technically past my prime. It's just that I w- getting on a skateboard and riding it can feel like riding a bike, which like you never forget. But in terms of like actual, you definitely forget the nuances of how to handle a skate. At least for me, where like it took me a while to get used to it again, and I was a little bit surprised. I'm like, man, I'm still pretty good at this, but yeah, then I got overly excited thinking I can do like some kind of fucking 360 off of a box or some shit. And I just, what's funny is like, I do remember the injury too. And I remember being like, oh guys, I was like, guys, I think I really fucked something up. Like I was like, I think I really, like, I think this is over. And like, I was like, oh, you know what? You'll probably be good in like a couple days. Dude, I think it took months. Whatever I did, it took months till I was like back to normal. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm still glad I did it. I'm glad I did it because it's like, all right, if that's the last memory I ever have of me skating, it was, it had a rough ending, but it was a good memory. And then that old guy showed up again, bro. It was the craziest thing, Gaming Survivor. We were just skating in that little fenced off little micro skate park, and that old guy shows up. He drives up and he rolls down the window and he's like, "Remember me?" Mm. Yeah, sorry. If you're just arriving to the stream, the stream's basically cut off into two segments. God of War talk and game talk, and then me reminiscing about skating growing up, my skateboarding days. But I twisted my sphincter. You're not too far off, Prince G. No, but really, something got messed up. I'll tell you that. Wasn't quite the same after. But guys, I think that's gonna wrap up today's stream. Good talk. It's nice reminiscing sometimes. It's good. It's a little bit of a therapy session. MBG, I can't stop thinking about when you mentioned the other day that you can't play a game without considering trophies. You made my hobby sound like work or school. I know, dude. I was thinking about that too. I'm like, come on, bro. You Dead by Daylight skins, the old man hunting skater, MBG and his friends. AI, bro. AI image that Gaming Survivor. But guys, I think that's going to do it. Definitely wasn't planning on making this a 4-hour stream or close to a 4-hour stream, but here we are. Yeah, so even though it may not seem like it, we did talk gaming today, but we talked skateboarding as well. I think that this is SX1 Bucks. I don't know if he's still here. I think it's his fault because early in the stream he's like, I'm gonna go try out the skate alpha or whatever. I think that's what that planted the seed in my brain. Did he Dead by Daylight skin? Oh damn. All right, guys. That does it for today's stream. It was a later stream than normal. Had certain things I had to deal with today, so it was a late start. But we hopefully, we should be back on a normal regular schedule starting tomorrow. Just have notifications turned on so you can know when we're going live. I want to make sure to give a huge shout out before I. Oh wait, yeah, there we go. I was like about to shout out Silent Spartan. He's like, hey, wait, you owe us reps. He's right. I do owe you reps. Let me get that spooled up. He's not letting me off the hook. He's like, bro, you got to do it. Maybe let me break out the skateboard. I'll do a kickflip. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even have a skateboard anymore. How sad is that? All right. All right, let's go. We're going to get some reps, and then we're going to head out of here. But had some Soundgarden ready to go. I tried to do as many reps as I could without overdoing it, because I still have to do a proper workout later. Yeah, Devil Shooter does do the timestamps, but Silent Spartan, those reps are for you, bro. He dropped 70 memberships today. 70 memberships. Huge. So Silent Spartan, thank you so much for the support, man. Really. At the rate we're going, you're going to get me, you're going to make sure I get ripped. Like, you're going to whip me into shape. The rate we're going, I'll be in the best shape of my life. So just getting these extra reps in. Why not? But thank you so much, man. And yeah, I want to thank everybody for all your support. If you dropped any super chats, memberships, direct donations, anything, I'm only able to do this because you guys make it possible. Let me get this out of here. And I also want to make sure to give a shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the streams. So if you guys see him in the comments, give him some thanks. Show him some love. Getting a little pump going. A little something. Feeling it. Feeling the burn. And yeah, Devil Shooter, thank you for what you do, man. But there we go. Complete stream. Talked about God of War. Talked about PlayStation. Talked a little bit about Xbox at the end there. Talked about skateboarding. Talked about some memories. And we end it with some reps. So, all right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Once again, losing track of days. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. That wraps it up. I did put out a video. Go check that out if you haven't. We'll be back here tomorrow with some regularly scheduled content, hopefully. And yeah. So, all right, guys. Until then, take care, everyone. I gotta go get some protein.